If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you running a business is tough. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/C-suite. netsuite.com/C-suite.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and I'm here with the other superhero homie who goes by the name of Kevin. Kevin, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing quite well tonight, Quentin. I am really feeling in the mood for our political-voiced Iron Man 3 review, and I'm rearing and ready to go in the softest tone that I can muster.
That's excellent. Quite amazing. So, for those of you who listen tonight, we'll be covering our review of Iron Man 3, the classic 2013 movie directed by Shane Black, of course starring the quite so popular Robert Downey Jr. And if this is your first time listening to the Superhero Homies podcast, just know that this isn't quite the tone that we typically take on our podcast, and we hope that this is quite okay with you and for your listening pleasure.
That's right, Mr. Ficklin. Tonight we're going to be taking it into a more mature and grown-up step in order to really get into the minds of our audience and to really actually approach, if you will, the more political-minded in our population.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I hope that you don't find it offensive when I say this. I hope that we can still remain friends and everything can be copacetic as always.
Exactly, it's quite copacetic.
Yes, when I say that this movie is it's not my absolute favorite Iron Man movie. It's maybe possibly my least favorite, but it is my hope that, all right, people, we're going to cut that shit out.
I was so ready with my next political voice. I was just like, so politically, Spiffy was a piece of shit.
Okay, so we all know like those like talk radio shows where the guy speaks kind of like this, really soft spoken, and he's almost monotone, and you can't really tell if he's just waking up or if he's falling asleep. But it's definitely one of the two.
Or if he's that old, then that's literally his voice. And you're just like, what? Well, I'm sorry, what did you say? I can't hear you unless there is a mic.
Yeah, it always sounds like a young guy, though, so I can never tell. But, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's something we wanted to goof around with tonight, guys. Political voice intros. Ooh-wee.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I hear it on, like, political talk shows, and other times I hear it in just, like, I don't know, just, like, some kind of NPR or
right. It's like that bullcrap you listen to if for ever some reason you're stuck on AM radio on a radio station, and you're just like, why the hell do I even have this on still?
Yeah. It's like the type of stuff you put on when you want to fall asleep at night.
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to be talking you to sleep. Just remember that I'm the small, low, slow voice that's going to be whispering in your ear as you sing yourself to lullaby land.
Very slow. And as you fall asleep, I hope you know that I'm actually a serial killer. And I know exactly where.
That could have been an evil laugh. What you think?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Thank you. Yeah. I did not do that on purpose. That was genuinely funny to me.
Let's go ahead and get this thing started.
What are we doing? Here. We are seriously doing Iron Man 3.
Yeah, we are doing Iron Man 3.
We are doing Iron Man 3. That's the serious part.
We're picking up and continuing on with our review, or with our review of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, that's right.
Of course, leading up to Infinity War, which comes out in 100 days.
Ooh,
exactly
cool.
100 days.
We're
actually,
about to break them triple digits.
Yeah, probably as we're recording right now, I guess we're at an awkward time, and I didn't think about this until this very moment. If so, I would have waited. But there's actually some kind of teaser trailer that they're releasing tonight. Some kind of little clip, I
can just imagine now, an hour into the podcast, you're talking deeply about a scene. I'm just like, hold up, that's really cool and important and all, but this movie right here, and just like play the trailer live and we watch it. I wouldn't want to, I wouldn't want to play a trailer over the microphone, because then it's like everyone's listening, and someone out there would have been like, oh, I haven't seen the trailer yet, but I guess I'll listen to the trailer.
Right,
because that's just as cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't want to do that.
No, not at all. Yep. So
We'll just pause recording.
Iron Man 3, Kevin. So I usually ask you this question at the top of our review podcast, but what are your overall like vague thoughts on this movie?
Okay. I'm going to summarize it in the most common language I can while working my way more into the podcasting or critique mindset that you and I have, accustomed ourselves to after so many episodes. Okay, beginning off here. If you were to suggest to me, would I rather sit through Iron Man 3 or rewatch The Room, Rubber, and one other atrocity of a movie, which isn't even in English, all on the same night, I would say let's do that. Let's do the latter. Let's skip Iron Man 3 and watch those horribly atrocious, almost hilariously awful movies all over again.
Wow, to me, Iron Man 3 is not a good movie. I don't think I put it in that category of awfulness.
I would love to rewatch those horrible movies again. Iron Man 3 is one of those things where it's like, well, I guess I'll rewatch it, sure.
Yeah, it was,
that's my mindset.
It was about halfway through Iron Man 3 when I realized that my biggest problem with the movie, well, there's several big problems I have with the movie, but one problem that I never really addressed until this viewing that I did last night, which was actually only my second time watching the movie.
Right. No, same here. Yeah. That was today.
When I watched it last night, I realized that this movie's just kind of boring.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. It's not some. It's not even the fact that there's like bastardizations of characters,
right?
Or that they take the extremist plot and put it through the shredder. Is
they redefine the entirety of that cool word?
Yeah. It's really the fact. It's also the fact that this movie is just kind of boring.
It is, and
it's not interesting.
I'm gonna stand by this opinion. I'm not sure what your thoughts or feelings are on this, but I feel like the actors did a pretty good job with what they were given.
Yeah, well, see, the thing about this movie is that I feel like maybe it wasn't even Shane Black. Maybe it was also the writers or Kevin Feige. Because I don't want to put all the negativity of this movie on Shane Black.
No, that's not deserved.
But it felt like they were like, okay, it's fine. We can have Robert Downey. Like they relied on his charm to make it through the movie. And like as charming as Robert Downey Jr. is, that's not enough.
Right.
Because there were moments of this movie that really felt like I'm not watching an Iron Man movie. I'm watching Robert Downey Jr. in life.
Right.
Like, that's what it felt
exactly,
like.
Yeah. With acting anxiety attacks sprinkled in the middle.
Right.
Yeah. My bit is I don't know. With this movie, I felt like when they sat down for it and chose a story arc, they chose a great story arc.
They did.
Extremis, that was a really well done Iron Man story arc, considered one of his best.
Oh yeah.
But when they did so, it was comparative to that when your body gets sick, I feel like. Because when your body gets sick, it's not all at once. It just doesn't jump on you. It slowly happens. It's all of a sudden one cell happens that just happened to survive the autoimmune system. And then another happens. And then another. And none of these are stopped by the immune system. They're just allowing it to happen. And all of a sudden you have too many bad cells and then you're sick. That's what happened to this movie. There was one decision made. One decision in the beginning. I'm not sure what it is. Don't ask me which one. I'm not even going to guess. We might joke about it, sure. But one decision was made, I'm sure. One of them. That was bad. That was tearing this movie, the plot, the awesomeness of the original story to shreds, like you were saying. Mm-hmm. And then that decision survived. Someone said on the writing board that, okay, we'll do that. That's cool, man. That's cool. And then another decision was made. And then another. And all these bad cell ideas were created and no one could stop them. And it was just too late.
Yeah, and like the thing about Iron Man 3 is that I even tried to view this movie from the eyes of someone who hasn't read the comics, from someone who isn't familiar with Maya Hansen or Aldrich Killian or Mandarin for that matter. I tried to watch this movie from the lens of someone who's not familiar with these other Iron Man characters, and I still came out wanting, you know, like even if I didn't know who any of these characters were, like the movie still just it wasn't not only was it not cohesive, but it just wasn't entertaining.
And you know what? I know I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here, but in retrospect, I wanted to ask you this off the cuff so we can go ahead and get it out of the way now.
Okay.
So this was, like you said, and relatable to me, this was your second time watching it. You've never watched it again before tonight.
Nope, I saw it in 2013 in theaters, and then I saw it last night.
Exactly. So it's been some time.
Yeah.
Okay. In retrospect, when you watched this movie the second time, were you equally as disappointed or more so because you knew that the buildup was happening, but you knew what the big reveal was going to be? You knew what the shit was going to happen.
Okay,
you know?
so...
You knew how disappointing the reveal was going to be.
Yeah, you know, it's funny that you asked that question because I watched this movie with a renewed sense of optimism and tried to view from with a new perspective.
Yeah.
But when that scene came up that you're referring to,
Oh, gosh.
I still lost my shit. Like, I think I have a page of notes just on that scene.
Poor Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, but you know, before I lose my shit and go off on that.
Yeah, no. Let's go in order and lose our shit in order.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But no, I just wanted to know because I know, and I won't reveal too much about the scene. I feel like, again, we should keep to our format in essence. But I feel like there were cool scenes before that scene. There were scenes that I thought were well done.
Oh, yeah, me too.
That you could take out of this movie and put in a better, newer, remade Iron Man 3 with the purpose of making something more sound.
Yeah.
And they could still be cool.
Yeah, because here's the thing, like, you know, just from my perspective here alone, like, you know, before going to the theater, you know, reading articles online and all that, and knowing that this movie is going to be based on the Amazing Extremist arc, and also that Mandarin's going to be the big bad villain. So I'm like, oh shit, like this really is going to be by far the best Iron Man movie ever. Like, I'm going to this theater thinking they're not gonna be able to top this Iron Man.
No,
like anything after this is gonna feel mediocre. That's what I'm thinking. And at first, I thought that after my first viewing, I thought that maybe I didn't like the movie because I went into it too hyped. I went into it with too high of expectations.
Okay.
But after viewing it again last night, I realized that I was wrong. It's just a bad movie.
Right.
Overall.
Okay. And here's the big thing, guys. This is why this is such a huge daggum deal. So for those who don't know, because I know that's going to be a very small population, but a population nonetheless out there, Mandarin is to Iron Man what Joker is to Batman. He is the perfect antigen to this person, okay? Iron Man being a technological, science-based person, you know, with the idea of logic and technology and improving himself by using his skill set, whereas Mandarin is not that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mandarin is he's one who takes a lot of technology, but also a lot of magic as well, using those alien rings, those 10 alien rings, to really, you know, do the evil plans that he creates.
I'll save that. Never mind. I'll wait till we get to those scenes. I was going to share negativity, but I'll wait. Yeah.
But so let's go ahead and get into this review here.
Let's do it.
All right. So my very first note is the Blue song, huh?
Yeah. And that was a fun choice, admittedly.
It was unexpected. Yeah.
It was, It was something different besides their AC/DC openers, you know?
Right.
And it was about time we did something fresh.
Yeah.
So I was cool with that.
Yeah, I was too. I just thought it was interesting. Yeah, so I mean, technically, the very first scene in this movie is just it's Tony Stark recapping the events, and at first she's starting from the end because we see Iron Man suits blow up, and he's trying to formulate his thoughts on the matter.
Right.
You know,
and
kind of
it
filling
wasn't
this in.
even a bad monologue. Like,
No.
it was fitting for
Tony Stark. Like, it didn't make a whole lot of sense, but it was
True.
But it was. It was an icebreaker. It was an opener.
True. I felt like with the whole demon line, it would have made a lot more sense if there had also been a presence. Never mind. I'm not going to get into that yet. I'll wait till we get into that scene too. But yeah.
Okay. Cool. But the movie really opens with the 1999 New Year's Eve party. It was a science conference in Switzerland, and I really enjoyed this scene. Actually, I thought the opener was really solid.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Yeah, Tony Stark has basically had the same facial hair forever.
I know, right? Yeah.
As long as since the moment he could grow facial hair, he shaped it into that fashion and never changed it.
And notice, it wasn't ever gray.
No.
It's always been pristine black. Yeah, no age on him.
Well, I mean, I don't know how old they're trying to portray Tony Stark to be. So
right, that's true too. That's true.
yeah, we see Ho Jensen, and it's good to see him again. Ho Jensen, of course, played a pivotal role in Tony Stark's origin, and ironically enough, we really see how influential Ho Jensen is in the Extremis comic book. If you read that, then you really get to see Ho Jensen be a big influence to Tony Stark when both Tony and he are in the cave, because I believe in the original Iron Man comic book, for his origin, they pretty much just said that it was Tony in the cave. But then it was revamped maybe over 10 years ago or so when they did the Extremis story arc, and they said Ho Jensen was in there.
What was that? 09, I think? 08 and 09.
Yeah, for the Extremis, it may have been. Yeah. But yeah, so and of course Ho Jensen was also in the Iron Man 1 movie as well, and they took a lot from Extremis when they did that origin. You know, having Ho Jensen in there, helping him develop the tech and helping him put the suit together, because Ho Jensen is also a very brilliant scientist as well, a very brilliant man. And so it was nice to see that callback, though, because of course in Iron Man 1, Ho Jensen says, Mr. Stark, we met once before. It was at a science conference in Switzerland.
Right, yeah.
And Tony Stark's like, I don't remember that at all.
Well, that makes sense. You were quite inebriated.
Yeah, and of course here in Iron Man 3, in this flashback scene, we definitely see that.
He's inebriated, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't give Ho Jensen the time of day. Nope. He doesn't give really anyone the time of day except for Maya.
Exactly. He just wants to get in them pants, man. Yeah, that's his game.
That's all he wants there. Yeah. And so we see Aldrich Killian for the first time here, and he is vastly different from what he was in the original graphic novel.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and here's the thing, like, and I say this so often, but I always feel the need to reiterate it. And I don't mind comic book changes. As a matter of fact, our next Sunday podcast is going to be on that, changes from comics to the movies, and are they for the better or are they for the worse, and why they make these changes. But when I saw the change here for Aldrich Killian, I didn't mind it. Because I thought that, for the context of the movie, it may make more sense.
Right. So it really did. It worked out well.
Yeah.
Plus, that was still Guy Pearce with the cane and the limping.
Yeah, that's still Guy Pearce. Yeah,
I was about to say, he was exceptional.
Here's the thing I was going to say. Guy Pearce, I feel, is one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood. Guy Pearce is really good.
Yeah.
He's really good. I enjoy his work a lot. So I was really excited to see him here in this movie.
I was about to say, I enjoyed him as an actor and as a talented person in this movie overall. His character, we'll get to that in a hot minute, but yeah.
Yeah. So we see Killian here for the first time, Mr. Killian, and he is looking a hot mess. And, no homo, but, Guy Pearce is typically a very attractive person, as we see in a later scene here. Right. He's very suave. But here, not so much. Here, he's almost like a hunchback. He's got nasty hair, nasty teeth. I think there's something wrong with like his spine. He said he needed physical therapy.
Right.
So right here, he's he's not doing too well.
Right.
He's in the social department.
He's an easy face to say no to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also because he comes off really not humble, but really I guess shy or really.
Unnecessarily energetic or tunnel visioned.
Yeah. He comes up as a beta male is pretty much what I'm getting at here, and of course to Tony's like drunken, overbearing alpha male, didn't really pay him any attention. So when Aldrich approached him, about his ideas and about things that they could do to work together, Tony shut him down. I did enjoy the Easter egg about AIM. I think that this is the first reference that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has made to AIM. Of course, AIM is the Advanced Idea Mechanics, and it's a really interesting group in the Marvel Universe. They're mostly used for their technological advances, and as a matter of fact, in the comics, AIM is the group that develops the Cosmic Cube, or the Tesseract, as we can call it here in the movies. Of course, they're also responsible for MODOK. If you don't know who MODOK is, look him up. You will not be disappointed. But anyways, so yeah, in this universe here, Killian is responsible for AIM, and I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't mind that at all either. I mean, it felt appropriate. But yeah, Tony's not having any of it, and Tony. I mean, a simple no or I'm not interested in your ideas would have sufficed.
Right. Or at least let's talk about this at a better time when I'm not trying to get some. You know?
Yeah. Or at least, we can exchange cards and I'll call you.
Right.
Something.
Something a little better.
What Tony did was a pretty douchebag move.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It is not outside of Tony's character, especially at this point in his life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Tony basically tells him, yeah, you know what, just going up to the roof and I'll meet you there in a little bit. And, Poor Aldrich, he thought he was serious. So as Tony is going to get him some from Maya, Aldrich goes up to the roof on the science conference in Switzerland on New Year's Eve in 1999.
Which I'm sure is still cold.
Probably.
Yeah.
I have never been to Switzerland, but I can imagine.
Yep, that's a thought.
Yeah. So it was it was cool though seeing Aldrich and Maya on the screen for the first time. Maya, she was played by Rebecca Hall, and she's a pretty good actress. I've always thought. And I mean, honestly, like in this scene right here, there's a lot of dialogue going on between her and Tony, and some of it can really kind of go over your head because there's a lot of words, but not a lot being said.
It's a lot of scientific stuff too at the same time. So you're just kind of like, okay, don't care. Context clues. Oh, there's one.
Yeah. So basically, Maya, she's saying that she's on the verge of doing something really special with the brain and DNA and genetics and blah blah blah. We're kind of like Tony at this point.
I kind of like Happy in this scene, to be honest.
Happy was great. I love Happy's hair. Happy has changed a lot over the years.
Yes.
As far as his appearance goes. Yeah.
I liked him in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great to see Happy again.
I love how like they leave the room. Okay, so Happy's playing with this plant that was this huge experimental deal to Dr. Maya here, and she's like, "Oh, hey, don't do that." And then she says the weird line here that intrigues everybody. The plant doesn't like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so Happy's like, what? I don't care, what? And she's like, no. And she explains it in some more scientific BS. Tony at this point is more ready to just take her into the bedroom. Mm-hmm. And then as they leave, freaking Happy's just like playing with the plant some more, like bullying it. And then like picks a little bit off. Yeah.
What about because I didn't really catch it here because I'm not sure what caused it, but there was an explosion earlier in this scene, and then Happy runs in and dives onto Tony
at like way after last night. Okay, bro, you're super late.
Like your effort is appreciated.
Okay, so essentially that plant, I don't know what you want to call it. We'll call it Grenatrum for now. Okay, you're welcome. Copyrighted. I like that. But no, Grenatrum. So he picks off Grenatrum, and then the camera quickly goes to the plant, and you see it regrowing at like a super rapid rate, something way too accelerated for normal plant life. Completely. Like you can visibly see it grow back. Mm-hmm. Wow. But it's growing back in like that weird fiery color. And so all of a sudden it's like, and...
Gotcha.
Grenatrum exploded.
Yeah, so ironically enough, this plant planted seeds for the future of the movie. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So then from there we fast forward here, and it's the Christmas season here.
Could you imagine the front lawn of Grenatrum? Like,
I play Plants vs. Zombies all the time, so it's not that hard for me to imagine.
Okay.
So, moving on here. So, in the next scene here, we have Tony Stark down in his laboratory, and he's working hard. He's been doing a lot of work since.
And now we're present day.
Since the New York incident, he's been doing a lot of work in his garage area, and we learned that he's up to Mach 42 now, whereas in Avengers he was up to Mach 6. So there's been quite a few Iron Man suits being made since then. And the Mach 42 is really a suit where he plants a chip in himself, and with that chip in him, he's able to summon the suit like at will, at thought. Mm-hmm. I was really hoping that. Don't get me wrong, like seeing this was really cool visually.
Oh yeah,
this was some of the coolest visual shit that I've seen in a superhero movie.
It was definitely a cinematical upgrade from Iron Man 2's suitcase suit.
Yeah, the briefcase suit was really cool too.
Thank you. Better said briefcase suit. So I'm not repeating suit. Yeah, but It was a cool upgrade from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seemed like the suit fly over to him and like attach itself. First I thought, man, that looks really painful.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially the first time when it's like, oh, crap, doom, and you have to like deflect is coming in too fast. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Like, shit. But that was really cool to see. I will say this. I was hoping and thinking at this time that the movie would implement more of the Iron Man version of the Extremis armor. They never really do, though. This is as far as it goes, with him implanting the chip in him and being able to summon the suit.
Now, do we want to low-key explain that real quick to our listeners? Like, what the difference is there? Let's go
Okay,
ahead and do that.
so really quick here. So with the Extremis graphic novel, technically the Extremis is a virus that's taken, and when it's taken by a normal person, it implements their strengths, their feats, and their abilities tenfold. Iron Man comes up against this angry redneck bastard who's taken it, and he's thought to have died, but come to find out he survived the exposure to the Extremis. And this regular man, like in regular clothes and all that, does battle with Iron Man, and he whoops the shit out of Iron Man. He beats the hell out of Tony Stark pretty badly, and Tony Stark is able to get away and retreat. He gets back to Marion Hansen, and he's like, "Look, if I'm gonna make it through this, if I'm gonna live, I'm gonna have to use my own version of this Extremis virus to live." And so he makes a few changes to the Extremis virus, and he injects it into himself. So we have Tony Stark's genius with this invention that was created by Aldrich Killian. At this point, Aldrich Killian had killed himself in the graphic novel. He kills himself because he feels like it's a failure, and he knows that the virus is gone, someone has taken it.
Right.
But
plus, one important fact to remember about the virus, if I'm correct, the virus itself was only an upgrade, quote unquote, which what we're talking about with this redneck who survived with the strength and whatnot.
Yeah.
It was only an augmentation for 2% of the population, because 98% of the genes of average people like us would have died from the disease.
Yeah.
Hence why it was a so-called failure, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's why Maya really didn't want Tony taking it either. But Tony's a smart man, so he made some changes to it, and he needed the virus for two reasons. Tony needed it, one, so that he could heal himself. Otherwise, Tony was gonna die.
I was about to say, because it gave him some incredible stuff. Like, he had a healing factor, better thought process.
Well, yeah. I won't really say so much. It did heal him, but as far as like the future of the comics, I don't know about.
It wasn't
healing
like
factor.
Wolverine level.
No.
Fact. Okay, cool.
No.
Okay.
But when he injected the virus into himself, this is where the graphic novel goes into flashback mode, and where we see Tony in the cave with Ho Jensen, and then we see those two working on the suit and on the very first arc reactor, and then trying to build this whole thing. And as soon as he comes out of this little comatose with the flashback, he now has like extreme abilities. See what I did there?
Yeah.
He's able to he wears like a typical like skin tight undersuit, but now that's in the inlays of his skin, and so he can just kind of summon that on the surface of his skin at thought, and he can summon the suit at thought as well, and it comes to him like in an instant.
So essentially what they were trying to do in the movie, just to correlate back.
Right.
But on a less graphic novel, more this is just something Iron Man did himself with random chips he put all in his body.
Yeah. This was definitely a bigger deal in the graphic novel.
Oh, yeah.
Because Tony could have died from it. There could have been other extreme side effects.
Yeah.
But also it gave him superhuman reflexes. It made him a human cell phone, so he could call people with just a thought.
Yeah.
It gave him like a lot of really cool abilities. It made Tony Stark the man into a legit superhero. So yeah, it was a pretty interesting upgrade for Tony Stark.
And then he went back for some redneck gas.
Oh yeah. So I mean that's like a really, really brief and quick synopsis of the graphic novel, though. For sure, check it out, because it really is a great Iron Man read if you're interested in Iron Man graphic novels. And also in that movie, in that graphic novel, it talks a lot about the struggles that Tony has as an arms dealer, dealing with the things he's done in his past and trying to overcome that now in the future or in the present. But back to the movie, though. But yeah, I did enjoy seeing him call the armor to him and having it attach itself to him. it looked really violent and like ouch.
Like I was saying before, a lot of these scenes you could take away from this horrible little complex of a movie, right? And then take them and put them into a whole better remake of Iron Man 3, which we, wish we could fund. But no, that scene in particular was. Oh wait, what do you have to say? Who's gonna pay for it?
It's like, who's gonna fund this? Not
No,
us.
I don't mean we as in you and I or the homies. Hell nah. I mean, nah. I'm talking we as in like as the public, as the people. Like Marvel, let's petition to do this.
Yeah.
But no.
And so, of course, on the TV now, there's this. Well, I guess not really a new terrorist, but he's definitely come to the forefront. His name is Mandarin, and he produces these really scary propaganda videos. And they're really, really well done. And this is the first time that we see Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin, and he is terrifying.
It looks great.
It looks great in a dark and grim and scary kind of way.
No. I mean, it was a quality thing.
Yeah. The thing about the Mandarin here in this movie is that he does seem to be more of a terrorist than he is in the graphic novels. Don't get me wrong, because technically he is definitely a terrorist. Definitely. But they definitely play that up more here, because he seems like someone who could be a real threat, like in real life. The Mandarin seems real. I mean, there are no 10 rings. That's just what he calls his militia group. Yeah,
and then like that idea itself just became like an icon on his propaganda video. You notice? Yeah, and it's like, oh, okay.
Right,
Is that the most I'm gonna get?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure, to be honest with you. I mean, at my first viewing, I wasn't sure. Were we gonna see like the legit 10 rings in action? I was maybe thinking that they were saving it for a sequel. I don't know, but I mean, at least at this point in the movie, that's what I'm thinking. But to see Ben Kingsley, he was great, man.
Right,
he was so good.
I mean, he was the perfect casting role for that part.
Oh yeah. At this point, the movie has me in the palm of his hand. I'm like, this is great. Like, I want to see this.
Right. This is leading up to something cool.
Yeah.
Iron Man's upgraded. Look at this crazy ass villain over here.
Yeah.
What?
And then of course, like, just the lines that he says are so good, and the way that he says them, though. You will never see me coming. I love that.
Right? Yeah. Ben is good.
He's really
Shout out to you, Ben Kingsley.
Oh shit! But yeah, I was so glad that they got Ben Kingsley for this role, because he was legitimately amazing. I even have here that he was mesmerizing.
There you go.
Yeah, he's cold, he's calculated, and he's super scary. You know?
And his threats were good looming threats. Like, oh, okay, that's original.
Right. He was quick, he was concise, and to the point. You know what I mean? He didn't beat around the bush. He didn't leave anything to the imagination. He was very concise.
He had good cue cards.
Yeah. We also see in the scene after this, or like in the same television scene, the Iron Patriot suit for the first time.
I kind of like what they did with that in the movie. Iron Patriot, War Machine was better.
Right. Because, like at this time, they didn't have the rights to Norman Osborn. Of course, in the comics, Norman Osborn, he's the one who creates the Iron Patriot suit. He does that once he becomes the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. and wants to assemble his own team of Avengers.
AKA Dark Avengers.
Yep. Even though he never calls them the Dark Avengers, but of course
that's just the comic name. Okay.
And he said that the people need something that's familiar and something that they can follow, and so he created an Iron Man suit with the Captain America logo, and it was the Iron Patriot. And so I thought it was appropriate that they gave the suit to Rhodey in this movie. I didn't mind it, and also it did make sense.
Yeah, it made for a cool rewrite.
It made for a cool rewrite, and it also does make sense. Like, War Machine is a bit aggressive,
right?
Iron Patriot is a bit more,
look up to me,
right?
And plus, Don, he carried that really well.
Oh yeah, Don Cheadle, he does great with the part.
Oh yeah.
And like, you can tell he's really having fun with it too. Let's see. So you remember? I think the next scene here is when Tony and Rhodey, they're in the bar and they're talking, and Tony's trying to get Rhodey to give him information on the Mandarin, saying that he can help him out. He's working on new tech. He can help bring the Mandarin down.
Yeah.
The kids come up for the autograph. And then we see
one creepy little boy.
That one creepy kid. What did Tony say about him? About he looks like the kid from the Christmas Story or something.
I loved you in Home Alone, by the way.
No, it was Christmas Story.
No, that's right. I love you in Christmas Story. That's right. Yeah.
I was like, shit, because that kid does look like Tiny Tim.
Man.
Oh yeah, he did look like the little kid from Christmas Story, though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that was done on purpose, probably, but it was a dead ringer. But anyways, yeah, that kid creepily leans in and goes, "How did you escape the wormhole?" And
Like,
then I'm like, "Listen, I don't have PTSD, but that would freak me out too." Like,
What? You're flipping your fries and appetizers. It's like, what the
I'm like, "Okay, kid, we're gonna work on your social skills here." But no, that freaks Tony out. He runs outside, gets inside of his suit, and he's freaking out. He's asking Jarvis, "What's wrong? Am I poisoned? What's happening to me here?" And then Jarvis is like, "Looks like you just had like a giant anxiety attack." And he's like, "Oh, shit."
Wait, me?
Yeah.
Let's talk real quick here for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Stark parks his suit in an open ass place in the middle of this huge public restaurant.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's just normal. People are walking around and like, yeah, that's Iron Man's suit.
I'm sure they're probably taking pictures with it. And
I'm sure there had to have been some of that in between the panels.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so we're just gonna ignore this. This is Iron Man's suit.
Yeah.
This is Tony Stark's suit. We all know who he is.
Right. Well, there's
He
probably
just finished this cool ass wormhole episode thing going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could have been like someone who goes through a life and be like, yeah, he comes here every Tuesday.
The bartender's just like, I know, right?
Yeah. But
Oh wait, no. He goes there every Saturday, and then he listens to his friend at the bar named John. He gets him his drinks for free. Do you know what I'm doing yet? No? Come on, someone has to know.
okay. Well, I'm gonna move on here with the review.
That was Piano Man. That was Billy Joel Piano Man.
Okay.
I'm sad.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sad you didn't get that, but that's okay.
No.
That's Billy Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I look like I listen to a lot of Billy Joel?
I wanted to make the joke, but I wasn't going to make it yet. But yes, you do not look at all like someone who listens to... What was that conversation we had about a month ago? White people music? Yeah, there it is. That's it. That's the one. There it is. He's up on that chart too, buddy. All right.
Billy Joel was the last guy on my mind.
Ever, probably. You probably haven't even thought about Billy or Joel at all today.
But what you think about Tony having this anxiety attack?
I thought Robert did a really good job acting it out, which, I'm sure was probably the most challenging part of Robert acting as Robert,
Or acting as Tony.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're not synonymous? Yeah. Because I feel like in every movie, his personality just shines through so well in the role that at this point, it's like, okay, we actually need you to do something else on top of what you're doing. Like, wait, really? We are? It reads the script finally. Oh, I guess I'm having anxiety attacks. And he did good with them. They looked good. They helped develop the plot to a point, There were times when I was kind of like, okay.
Yeah. But at this point in the movie...
At this point, it looked really good. At this point, it's like, whoa, we got some real hurdles to get over here.
Right.
Okay.
And it made sense, and I appreciated it
Right.
because you do want some form of realism to ground you, even when you watch these superhero movies.
Right.
Because you don't want because if you didn't have any kind of blowback or repercussions from going through that wormhole and the whole Chitauri attack on New York City, because it was such a big deal. And for him to not have any kind of side effects from that would be, I feel like it would be downplaying the Avengers and doing it a whole injustice, by not having him suffer in some capacity from it.
Plus, it would have been ignoring one of the more important facts that he was like one of the few only normal humans on the team. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was still,
or at least the only normal human who, went into an intergalactic space.
Yeah. Agreed. But yeah, I thought it was really well done too. I thought it played a pretty key point in the movie, and so I didn't have any problems with it at this point at all.
Right. Keywords at this point.
So I looked at my next note and it immediately made me giggle, and then I was like, what the hell does this mean? But now I know. So the next scene here is when Pepper, she's meeting with Aldrich Killian.
Okay.
And he's back now, and she sees him, and she's like, "Oh damn," you know.
I know, right? Like checking him out.
Yeah. And I have here in my notes, he went from unfuckable to fuckwithable really quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
That was not my thought at all, but okay.
Really?
No.
You didn't think that at all. You didn't look at this
No.
man and be like, he went from unfuckable to fuckwithable.
No, I definitely had like a similar thought, but I never had the idea of like that.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I want to fuck him.
Yeah,
but I'm saying
I'm
that
not saying that either.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, but I never even like fathomed the idea of like, oh shit, man, look at this guy. Yeah, it was more like, whoa, Guy Pearce turned around. Holy shit, like that was a dramatic turnaround. What happened to Hunchback? Are you his twin? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he explains to Pepper this whole new idea that he's working on here about how he can pretty much change something with the brain and make people better.
I really like. First off, great synopsis.
Do you like my description?
Oh, totally. I will break in real quick here and say that I did really enjoy this scene because not only one did it show that AIM is still an existent entity, but at the same time it showed how damn well that this freaking Killian character all of a sudden became this charismatic, silver-tongued man who's just like swooning in this meeting.
Yeah.
He's doing more swooning than he is meeting, damn it.
Right.
Like he's like, oh, turn around, let me show you this. And like he's
Yeah,
like
he's,
right up in this, like all arms around,
Right.
like really just charm the shit
He
out
did.
of Gwyneth.
Yeah, he almost charmed the panties off of Pepper here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she was falling for him.
This is my brain. What?
Yeah.
Pinch me. Go on, I can
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just playing all the cards right.
Oh,
And
yeah.
as much as Pepper wanted to agree to his proposition to join him and helping fund this and help create this whole thing that he's doing, she turns him down because she knows that ultimately Stark Industries is Tony's company and Tony doesn't want to do this. And
Which I thought was a very well done scene, all because of that we just talked about, but also because of the relative symbolism here.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like he's swooning over here. He's he's obviously super attractive now for a guy, and then he's coming in like, hey, so you want to join me? Which could also be said, hey, you want to come chill with me? Let's go Netflix and chill maybe. Let's go on a date. Let's make something out of this.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I'm still with Tony here. It was very reflective in that sense as well, which I appreciated. You know, yeah. But
And shout out to Happy Hogan because Happy sees what's going on and he calls
Oh my gosh.
he calls his boy Tony up. You know what I mean? Like, hey man, listen.
he's like
you
your
need to-
best damn friend
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
He's like, hey Tony, you need to come get your girl, man. You got to get your girl.
We all need a friend like Happy in our life.
Yeah, we all need a
Yes.
guy like Happy to tell us, when shit like this is going down. You don't want to find out after the fact,
I literally have that written down here, man. Happy is damn good. I have it written down twice for 2 different scenes.
Happy is good, man. Like
Yeah.
they really do a good job of building Happy up here, and we see why here in a little bit.
How can he
There
not
was
with
this-
a name like Happy?
Yeah, good old Happy Hogan. But he also Happy sees this weird guy, like this bodyguard of
Right.
Killian, who's sitting in the lobby.
Who, frankly, is the cliche, almost overdone, let me look like the tough, I don't care type
Right.
dude, but I'm obviously shady up in here too.
Yeah.
Okay, want to be rebelling with that little badge he's not wearing. Like, okay, you piece of shit.
Right.
Yeah. You're overdone. Your
Yeah.
characters existed before.
Yeah.
You're not special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. My next note here is Big Ass Bunny.
Yeah. Like, who thinks that's what I'm going to get?
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, really? Like, this is your gift to the love of your life. You get here a giant ass bunny rabbit. And I'm trying to get inside the mind of Tony Stark and figure out why he thinks this is a good gift idea.
Around Christmas. Make sure you highlight that. It's
Because
around the
I
holidays.
mentioned earlier that.
Oh,
this
okay,
is-
yeah, okay. But it's like, so what is this? Yeah, does it have something cool inside? I mean, does it say something?
That's what I first thought when I saw
yeah.
the movie. I was like, "There's something inside this bunny."
Like,
nope,
No.
It's just-
Like, it's gonna open up and be like this, like,
Right.
massage station or something sick like that. Like, no. Or knowing, freaking Tony, it would have been like some lingerie or something. I don't know.
something.
But, no, it was just a big-ass bunny. How did they get it inside?
No idea. Yeah, and so Pepper comes in and she's just like us, wondering what the hell is up with the big ass bunny. And she's
It's
greeted
super
by
creepy.
Yeah.
It's like in the Batcave when you look up and you see this giant ass penny, and you're just like,
Yeah.
Why would you have
The
this?
giant ass penny, the T-Rex.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm just like, what is this going to be paying homage to in our home?
Right. Well, with Batman and this stuff, I get that more.
Right, yeah, no, I was...
Because it'd be different if Batman was like, "Hey, Alfred, I got you this penny." then it'd be the same thing.
Well,
But
isn't Alfred's last name Pennyworth?
Pennyworth, damn it.
Pennyworth.
No, that's not a correlation.
I have to throw my
Hey, Alfred, this is what you're worth.
What?
This giant ass penny.
Alfred would have just sighed and be like... And if it was Bruce, he would have had some smart aleck thing to say.
Yeah. But so
Anyways.
Pepper, she comes in and she's talking to Iron Man, and she's like, "What's up with this suit?"
You're wearing this inside now.
Yeah, you're wearing the suit inside now. She's like, yeah, sure. And they start talking a little bit and then flirting back and forth, and she's like, "Well, why don't you open up that mask, and then give me a kiss?" And he's like, "Well, why don't you just kiss me where the mouth slit is?" That was his exact words. "Why don't you just kiss me where the mouth slit is?" I'm like, that's the sexiest thing ever.
Like, at that point, you have to sit there and wonder, like, did you think you weren't going to get caught?
yeah. Like, what did you think this plan was gonna work?
Yeah.
And she goes, "Well, why don't I go down to the garage and get a crowbar, and then
And we'll take that face mask off.
And so my question here is, was she really going to do that? And if not, why was she going down to the garage?
I think she was smart enough to see that something was going on. And so
I think she knew
kind of
something
exploring.
was going on, but she obviously didn't know that he wasn't in the suit. She thought he was in the suit.
She was confident he wasn't, but this was
No, I think that she thought he was in the suit.
Okay.
Yeah, because when she goes downstairs, she's like, "What the hell?" She's really surprised when she sees him.
Okay,
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah. And I love how the suit kind of has like a personality of its own.
Yeah.
Like when Tony reveals to Pepper that he knows that she was meeting with Killian, and the suit just kind of looks over her like, "Really?"
Yeah, like judging her. And she's like, "What?"
I thought that was a pretty good scene.
That is the first embodiment of Jarvis we've seen in separate. Yeah.
But see, that's the thing, though, because they almost treat it like
The suit itself,
The suit
without
itself.
Jarvis's voice
Right.
was,
Yeah,
true.
Mm-hmm. And then Pepper, she gets pretty upset, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony, he's not been himself, and he's been kind of distant and not really thinking about her. And Tony, he spills his heart out to her,
Yeah.
telling her that he's not sleeping well. He's not feeling himself. He's working a lot. And he says something that was interesting enough for it to catch my ear. And he goes, "Threat is imminent." And then he goes on to explain how, the one thing he wants to protect is her. And if he's not down here working, he doesn't feel like he can do that. So I thought that was a really interesting line.
Yeah.
Because it really does say a lot about where his mind is at and what he's thinking. So ultimately he wants to build these suits continuously like he's been doing, because it gives him comfort, because he thinks that if he continues to make these Iron Man suits, he'll be better able to protect Pepper. So that's where his mind is at. And his heart is in the right place, but the execution is all wrong.
Right. I mean, his mind is more in the paranoid state.
Yeah.
And that's yeah.
Yeah. What you think about the nightmare scene here?
I thought when I first watched the movie here just more recently, I thought to myself, buddy, next time you install chips in your body and you staple them in through your damn skin, you need to make sure you install some kind of button on-off switch.
Yeah, so
when you
paint
go
the
to
scene
sleep,
here for the audience.
Okay, so Iron Man, our boy Tony, he's asleep, and he and Gwyneth Pepper, my bad. Tony and Pepper just finished, making up and going to bed, and now they're both asleep. Tony, however, is having a violent time sleeping, and he's recalling this tragic backstory of his, where all of a sudden, oh crap! Now I'm seeing like the wormhole again. Yeah, he's seeing all kinds of bull crap. Pepper's woken up first from it. She's trying to wake him up, and in doing so, some kind of safety protocol, whatever you want to call it, activates in his new, chips he's been installing throughout his body. And then all of a sudden, the suit itself, like before, was acting on its own, but this time in a let me remove the threat type sense. Like he's grabbing Pepper, about to do something about her.
Yeah, the suit is grabbing Pepper.
Yeah. Not Tony. Tony's still trying to wake up, but freaking the suit is reacting, trying to protect quote unquote Tony.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, Tony's about to take, he deactivates the suit, and then on top of it, for emotional impact, he's breaking the shit out of the suit, just making sure it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And it scares the piss out of Pepper, rightly so. Mm-hmm. And he's scared, she's scared, and they're both just realizing what happened.
Yeah.
And it's a darker scene. Definitely. It shows us more the emotional power of what's been going on with our boy, with his more current problems he has to overcome.
Yeah. I thought it was symbolic. I thought it was telling us in multiple senses that Tony is not in control.
No, he's definitely not okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I thought it was a really well done scene, though.
Oh yeah.
Because because we almost see this scene from Pepper's perspective, almost like we see Tony's dream, of course, but then from there we see it almost from Pepper's perspective. She's trying to wake Tony up, because us as an audience wants him to wake up too, so he can quit reliving that nightmare. And then we don't see it until Pepper sees it, but then the suit grabs her. And, she sees the suit at the same time that we see the suit.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, shit. And then the suit, almost raises a fist like it's going to attack.
Yeah. And notice, in the dark, those glowing eyes are creepy people.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
It wasn't like this friendly suit judging her in the damn basement. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure if the suit could talk itself, it would say, you won't ever have a chance to sleep with Killian.
Damn.
Yeah. But yeah,
The
so I
suit's a
thought
bro,
that,
too.
Yeah. I have heard that this movie has a darker tone, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like it's a really nice change. It's almost necessary at this point.
It really was, because as the heroes get better and bigger and
Right.
stronger, they need some hurdles worthwhile.
And so just to take a step back here, I don't want people to think that the reason that we don't like this movie is because of the tone. On the contrary, the tone is one of the things that I enjoy about this movie. I mean, because the tonal shift has no impact on me. I thought that this was a good thing. Just like with Captain America 1, the tone difference from Cap 1 to Winter Soldier, like night and day difference, Yeah. And of course, Winter Soldier is an amazing movie. But so, can you guys tell that I'm really excited to get to Winter Soldier?
I know, right? Yeah.
The next scene we get here is when they're in this for whatever reason, Happy Hogan, he's in the parking lot area or the front area of this Chinese theater. I guess he likes to see Chinese.
Well, yeah, that's the big famous one in Hollywood. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's over there, and he's outside in the front, and he runs into what we come to find out is one of these extremist lackeys. And the guy drops a case of something with some kind of devices in them.
Yeah, like Happy bumps into it on purpose with this goal in mind.
Yeah, pretty sly. Pretty sly of Happy. And
which, again, this was the second scene I wrote. Happy is damn good.
He is good.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Who would be that dedicated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Happy, he's really fun in this movie. Happy does a great job. I love Jon Favreau. I thought he did a great job here. But yeah, so he accidentally bumps into this guy, and he drops his suitcase or briefcase full of these little weird devices. And Happy's helping him clean it up. He said, "Oh man, I'm sorry about that. Let me help you." And then he nabs one of the devices, trying to see what it is. And as he's walking away, he runs into the other dickhead lackey who he ran into when Killian was meeting with Pepper. And he's like, "Oh, okay, it's you again." and the two exchange just a few words, and then pretty much at this point, a fight's breaking out.
Yep.
Yeah. Happy goes to take a swing at him. It doesn't quite work. This guy is full of the extremist shit, and picks up Happy and tosses him like, I don't know, a good 20 feet.
Something, yeah.
Goes like through like a glass panel, and Happy's fucked up. And then to add on top of that, the other extremist guy, the one who dropped the briefcase, he's not doing too well. Come to find out, this extremist shit is not being taken well by everybody.
Yeah, I love how the transition from comic to movie, all of a sudden it became this super roided out, aggressive and strong and all kinds of amazing right now, to I'm all those things plus a walking thermobomb.
Right.
Like, when did the hotness come in? You know, like what was this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you have a thought. It looks like you're thinking. I can tell. What's going?
Oh no, I was trying to think, because I think that maybe the guy did breathe fire in the extremist story.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he did, actually. Yeah.
All right. Never mind. I can see. All right. Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, but this extremist bastard, the one that dropped the briefcase, he explodes. Like literally, yeah, he explodes.
Yep.
And there's no telling how many people he actually killed with that explosion. Probably a lot.
In the middle of freaking Hollywood.
Yeah.
Who knows how many famous people also got hurt in that too, which would have covered up the actual count,
Yeah.
media-wise.
Right.
Yeah. But
Poor John Travolta. He never stood a chance against that blast. Don't ask me why I chose John Travolta.
I know, right? Like, what?
But yeah, so
Saturday
Happy
night, John Travolta had a fever. And
Okay, stop.
I'm
So Happy is in.
a little sorry for that one. Just a little.
Happy's in critical condition now, and he's in a coma in the hospital. And the next scene we see, Tony is sitting next to him, and you can tell that there's a lot of emotions going through Tony. There's anger, there's sadness, and there's like a tinge of guilt there. Not deserved guilt, but I think just that friendship guilt of Tony thinking, had I been there, I could have stopped it.
Sure.
That kind of guilt. So Tony, as soon as he walks out of the hospital, he's greeted by like a bunch of journalists and reporters, and one asks him, so when are you gonna kill this Mandarin guy? And then this is when
I thought this was a good scene.
This was a good scene.
Yeah.
This was Tony acting merely off of emotion and nothing else. This was Tony, just really just letting his feelings come out and just spilling his heart. And he says some things that maybe he shouldn't say. He threatens to kill the Mandarin under no uncertain terms. He says, "Look, I'm going to kill this guy."
He declared him already dead.
Yeah, he declared him already dead. And like, you guys can claim the body. That's what he says. And come to find out, Tony lives at 10880 Malibu Point.
I kind of wonder what happens if you Google. I'm going to Google Maps that real quick. Give me a minute. I'm going to ask you to read that off here in a sec.
I don't think that it's an actual place.
No? We're gonna look it up. But hit me with them directions again.
10880.
Okay. 880.
Malibu Point. Because I'm sure we're probably not the first people to Google this.
Nope. It's an actual house.
Is it really?
Give me a second here. We're gonna look at. Okay, no, that's all from the movie. I want to see the actual place. Here, maps. Here we go. I'm gonna look it up here.
This is riveting podcasting, people. Hope you guys appreciate this.
Okay. I'm seeing the name Scott Peel. Scott Keel. Yeah. Like, it's an address associated with him somewhere. And this is what it looks like, more so. Like a swampland almost.
Yep. Yeah. That's not quite as cool as Tony's house.
Oh, but you do see a cool house here in the background. Right there where the mouse clicker is. You see it? With the white siding? Yeah, that looks more like the Iron Man house. Yeah. Not quite as lavish as the one from the movie, obviously, but it does look still like some money housing.
Yeah, well, if it's at Malibu Point, then I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so moving on here, Tony. He goes back home, and just to kind of speed things up here in this movie. The next thing we see is Maya Hansen. She comes to visit Tony, basically telling Tony that he needs to get out. You need to basically go into hiding. You can't just give your address out to the Mandarin and threaten him and not expect consequences.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure I would have done that either. I'm not on Tony's side on this one.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't be. I mean, it was a brash, foolhardy thing to do.
Yeah.
And long story short here, and that thing happens. The Mandarin's men come for Tony in helicopters and missiles, and they blow the hell out of Tony's house. Tony, at the last second, he calls the suit, and then he puts the suit on to Pepper, a la Rescue from the comics. Pepper has no idea how to use the suit, but she does good enough to get herself and Maya out of the house before it collapses. Once she's saved, Tony calls the suit back to himself, this new Mach 42. Now, the Mach 42 has the cool function where, he can call the suit to himself or to someone else.
Yeah, but as we quickly learn, it has some problems.
It doesn't have much anything else at this point.
It was not combat ready, Jarvis said.
It wasn't combat ready. Yeah. It wasn't flight ready. I'm like, well, shit, man.
I know, right?
But, jeez. And, this is, to me, where some things kind of start to fall apart.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you guys listening, you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
So, you know that there's a point in the movie where he does the house party protocol. And that's when he summons all the suits to his aid. I think that now would have been a great time for the house party protocol.
Yeah, now would have been it, dude. Like, this... Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever. You don't have to save it for the swan song in the movie moment. No. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I feel like, you really...
If you give a damn, worldwide terrorist your address, your personal at-home address, and you're just standing around waiting for him to come up on your doorstep, you need to get ready with your biggest shit. You need your biggest gun locked and loaded with spare boxes of ammo, okay? You don't say, oh, let me do what I'm doing. Let me talk to these two girls in my living room up in here with a big-ass rabbit because it's going to protect me.
Yeah.
It
was just... I mean, while it was a cool and dramatic scene to watch, to me, it was a little...
It was a little poorly done for the greatest mind.
It was going to sound... This is going to sound hypocritical of me, but it seemed a little far-fetched in a comic book movie. And
that's kind of saying something.
Yeah. And I say that because, this is Tony Stark's home.
Right.
You think that you can just come into Batman's place and not expect to have to put up a serious fight?
Shoot, by the time you found Batman's place, you're already in a trap hanging upside down, all right? I will also say this. It's Tony damn Stark we're talking about here. And we're both making the same point, but I'm going to make it in a different lens so people can hear all sides of it. This is Tony Stark. He's a great mind in the Marvel Universe. You think he would have said, oh, let me stand around and do nothing and not prepare for this threat I've invited? Come on. Yeah.
Also, I feel like unless these helicopters had some kind of technology that allowed them to not be on the radar at all, I feel like Jarvis would have picked that shit up a long time ago before they got there.
Yeah. Or at least Iron Man should have had freaking missiles in his rock face thing. Come on. You have all that property and you're not going to Batman it up?
I mean, he was woefully unprepared for this. Woefully unprepared. Yeah. Just not at all prepared. So his house gets destroyed. The suits get buried under the rubble. He gets trapped underwater, and at the last moment, he's able to break free and escape.
I know, right?
He passes out in the process. Next time he wakes up, the suit is at less than 5% power.
So let's think about that real quick. This guy passed out in Iron Man flying position. Let's think about anatomically how he's looking here. So he's got feet pointed, hands like this, flared at the side, really showing the repulsors pushing him through the air, and his head is forward. So he's falling asleep like this.
Now, actually, to be fair, they slightly did away with that in Avengers because Joss Whedon said that pose looked a little too Tinkerbell in that Iron Man. So
That's true. I mean, he's tippy-toeing himself.
Yeah.
So
actually, like, they didn't really do that in Iron Man 3 or Avengers.
He just kind of actually flew flat foot, just kind of looking all heroic. Oh, also, I meant to make this note earlier. I'm going to make it now. I love how no matter what the hell he's doing, when Iron Man comes out, he has to superhero land. Notice when he first put the new suit on, the 42, he's all of a sudden flip, like he has to, like, okay, come on.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Anyways, but
yeah. So he wakes up because like the emergency signal is on in the suit. Jarvis is notifying Tony, "Hey, the suit's about to crash, bro.
We're at 5% power, sir."
Yeah, and Tony's like, "Where the fuck are we?" Because it's like a bunch of snow and country land and trees and rolling hills. And Jarvis is like, "Oh, remember we talked about this? We're in Tennessee.
I booked you a flight for Tennessee. What?
Tennessee." Like, okay, first of all, Jarvis, if I'm Iron Man or if I'm Tony Stark, I'm thinking you need to wake me up when you're at like 25%, not at 5%.
Right, like we're gonna change protocol.
Yeah, we're gonna switch this up here. The suit abruptly lands roughly in the snow,
almost slamming into this poor car.
Almost.
Yeah,
this poor innocent car almost got destroyed by Iron Man. He lands in the snowy bank area, and he's like, "Okay, I gotta get out of this suit." He opens up the suit. Fuck, it's cold. I'm getting back in the suit.
And at this point, Jarvis is like, "Nah, I think I'm gonna go to sleep.
Yeah,
I'm tired.
I'm tired, sir. It's time for sleep."
And then he just shuts out of power.
He's like, "Well, damn." So he lugs this Iron Man suit, like, I don't know where he gets like the rope from or the hardware or whatever. But he drags this suit.
Dadgummit. I didn't think about that, but you're right. There was no rope. There was no rope. The hair off his back.
Oh shit, that's a lot of hair.
I know, right? I'll movie reference. Tell me if you got it. But yeah.
Oh yeah, but he lands in Rose Hill, Tennessee, and the reason he goes there is because before the scene with the missile strike and all that, he's talking with Jarvis and he's trying to find similar bomb patterns and heat signatures to the Chinese theater explosion. And there's one that's extremely similar in Rose Hill, Tennessee, where this soldier suffering from PTSD apparently detonated a bomb, killing 6 people, and it had a really similar heat signature to that of the extremist guys. And so Tony thought it'd be a good idea to go there. Jarvis took the initiative and took him there.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. I have here that Jarvis powering down is kind of a symbol of Tony not having anyone else to rely on.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, sorry, sir, but I have to sleep now.
Yeah.
And it did kind of make Tony seem alone at this point, especially when he's forced to drag that suit who knows how far and how long.
It was, according to the movie and my memory, it was about 5 miles.
Probably, that sounds right.
Yeah, or somewhere in between 5 miles.
You're right, because technically it said,
it
said that they were 5 miles outside of Rose Hill, Tennessee,
right.
which is where he needed to be. Yeah. So Tony, he eventually, at first he calls Pepper.
Appropriate.
Yeah. And, lets you know that, hey, I'm alive.
I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry for giving you a rabbit around Christmas time. That makes no sense.
Actually, when he's dragged under the water during the missile strike, we see the bunny fall too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I was trying to figure out, maybe you know something I don't hear, but what's the point of the bunny? Did it have a purpose, or was it just?
It was like a date night gift. Because remember, that was their date night when she was coming home. Yeah.
But what purpose did the bunny serve? I'm trying to figure out here.
Oh, no, it wasn't. It was a gift.
Okay.
It was just like hey, I thought this was cute. Here you go. Yeah.
Okay.
As far as I know, that's all it is.
Okay,
until it became a damn water weight about to sink our boy. Yeah.
I didn't know if it was supposed to mean or represent something else.
Oh, you mean symbolically outside of that?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything personally.
Yeah, me either. Yeah.
Unless you want to really stretch and go like a Donnie Darko thing going. I mean, that's all I can imagine. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not feeling it though.
Yeah. It just seems so random.
Right.
But anyways, so eventually Tony, he breaks into a garage and he meets this kid whose name is Harley. And of course,
kind of a dick to Harley.
He is. He really is a dick to Harley. What do you think of Harley here?
I like them, honestly. I mean, as a character, again, he was cool. The little boy. Was that the same little boy from Jurassic World?
Fuck, it may have been.
I think so. Google, come here. We're using you again, son.
It may have been. For the most part, I did really like Harley.
Yeah. I thought he was okay.
Yeah. I really liked the actor. I thought he gave a lot of flair and personality to the kid. I will say this though, like both times that I've seen this movie, I did kind of just sigh and roll my eyes because like why can't we just have kids be kids?
It was the same kid.
Yeah, I thought so by the look of them. But like in these movies, like whenever there's kids, there's always something. There's something special about this kid.
Oh, of course.
And every single piece of media we see. Yeah. Of course, he's really, really smart. Like smart enough to make a high-powered potato gun, and and smart enough to know a lot of scientific terms and methods that Tony Stark uses. I mean, of course, he's really,
he knows
really
what
smart.
these electromagnets are. And okay.
And I'm like, this character would have been just fine if he was just a normal kid who had normal kid problems like he had.
Right, like a bully, I'll give him that.
He didn't have
deadbeat dad, I'll give him that too.
Yeah. He didn't have to be this highly intelligent kid. I mean, that's one thing that I really liked about like the new It movie and of course Stranger Things is that besides
they were just normal ass kids.
Besides 11, they're just normal kids. Acting like.
And they had personalities and character, but that doesn't make them oddly exceptional like this kid. That just made them people.
Yeah.
Like persons we could even relate to.
Right.
This kid was unrelatable because who the hell's doing this?
Because, with the exception of Stranger Things and the new It movie, I rarely watch things where children are the main cast because it's so pretentious sometimes. It really is, like kids saving the world and like all the adults are idiots and these children are amazing at everything. Like,
funny enough, that's exactly part of Stranger Things. Like, remember some of like the dad? The dad. The dad is the worst.
That dad just didn't care.
He just didn't like. Hey, what'd I do? You didn't do it. Whatever. Anyways,
go watch Stranger Things, people.
Good show.
But yeah, so Tony says to Harley at one point, Dad's leave, no need to be a pussy about it.
Yeah.
As Harley tells his truly heartbreaking story about how his father left 6 years ago, and Tony has no remorse whatsoever.
No, he really didn't. And it was straightforward, and it was funny and brutal.
It was.
And like, oh, dude.
And I'm like, damn, that's harsh.
Yeah.
That's poor kid. Yeah, this movie I have written down here is about Tony's growth and redemption, but doesn't always keep viewers engaged. That's what I kind of felt here at this point.
Yeah. Like at this point, I was coming in and out. Like the first part of the movie. Whoa, this is cool. Oh wait, I'm losing it.
Yeah. Harley and Tony, they go to visit the site where this suicide bomber whose name was Chad Davis, who was a soldier, and they go to the place where he apparently made this bomb that exploded and killed 6 people or 5 people. Yeah, killed 5 people. Yeah. And Tony says to Harley, "Don't you think it's kind of strange that he blew up, but there's only 5 shadows?" And
then there was that little backstory Harley was telling about, like, well, the town believes that these 5 people
ascended to heaven, so that's why they have shadows. And Chad didn't ascend to heaven, so that's why he doesn't have a shadow. And Tony says, "Do you believe that?"
Yeah, and I was waiting for Tony to get into the super smart. No, that's actually because of the carbon.
Right?
It's
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Which I'm surprised she didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at this point, Harley starts asking him a bunch of questions. Tony freaks out again, has another PTSD attack. The scene was funny enough, but at this point, like, it's starting to wear thin on me, Yeah. It's like, I understand, like, you're having these anxiety attacks, and I understand why you're having them. Like, we as audience get it. At this point, I'm just starting to feel like you don't think that the viewers are smart enough to understand what Tony's going through.
Right.
That's what it kind of seems like,
And he has to be that thinly veiled that this little kid, this innocent kid, is just asking these amazing questions about this huge ass hole in the sky who wouldn't be awesomely asking questions about this, and you're so thinly veiled that you have to freak out every time it comes up. Like, it has to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's a lot of really solid comedy here, and it's mostly due because Robert Downey Jr. and this kid who plays Harley do a really good job together.
Yeah, they had fun chemistry.
Yeah, and I did chuckle when Tony hit him with a snowball.
Yeah.
Like, for basically no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is for bringing up shit.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So after he visits Chad Davis's home, the dead soldier who suicided, he goes to the bar and meets with Chad's mom. And I don't remember seeing this scene, like him calling the mom or meeting or making arranging a time to meet up. But somehow he knows that the mom is here. He goes there, and the mom has a file on Chad Davis, on her son.
I think that's something Harley said, like, the last minute, like, oh, his mom was seen hanging out at the bar a lot, like, she goes down there a lot.
Yeah.
Or something.
And I guess maybe the mom had the files on hand to give to this Homeland Security officer. I do this in quotation marks because it obviously was not a Homeland Security officer.
It's true, he's quoting right now.
Yes. Dr. Evil style. I was doing some serious air quotes here. But yeah, so he looks at the file on Chad Davis and he goes, "Ma'am, I can assure you that your son didn't kill anybody. He didn't set off a bomb. Something else happened here." And it's around this time that this once again, quote unquote, Homeland Security officer, she comes in again.
The redhead with the burnt face.
And she comes in, and then there's a pretty nifty action scene here.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I thought it was
fun
too.
To watch,
Yeah, it was. At this point, Tony's even handcuffed, and he's having to escape, and like it's a really fun chase scene here, and then it's a good scene to see Tony use his mind and his ingenuity to get out of these situations, which I thought was something that we did need to see,
right? Because
Tony is capable to an extent outside of his armor. So I thought that this was an appropriate scene.
Plus, in the fourth wall viewpoint here, I know Robert Downey Jr. A few years ago, this was a semi-popular article where Robert Downey Jr. was getting back to the acting game and everything in his life by doing Iron Man, but also by being a huge advocate for martial arts. And he was actually getting really good at those, and he was using them in Sherlock when that movie was big. And this was a cool scene for that to kind of shine through too. Like, you see some of those like reflexes kind of naturally coming for our boy. It just worked out really well.
Yeah,
it looked good.
It did. It was a really well done scene, and it was really fun to watch. And once again, it really just showed Tony's brilliance and his quick thinking to save his own skin. So I thought it was a good scene.
Literally, when the handcuffs were burnt.
Yeah. But he's able to kill the flame on chick. the extremist or the extreme fail.
Ooh, Miss Extremis.
Miss Extremis, yeah.
That's a
Miss Extremis.
Mistress S.
Anyways,
we're having too much fun.
Yeah,
what are we doing?
But there's another extremist guy here. I think it's the same douchebag.
It's the same douchebag. He gets around a lot.
Yeah, the same douchebag who put who basically put Happy in the ICU.
Wait a minute. Oh shit.
What's up?
I'm thinking too much, man. Okay, so Malibu. This is where Tony's house is.
Yeah.
Cool. We just looked that up. That's Florida.
No, it's Malibu, California.
The address pulled up Florida on Google.
That is incorrect. That's probably why it showed us swampland.
That probably is why it showed up as swampland.
Yeah, he lives at Malibu Point, California.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So he's here in Cali.
Yeah.
Cool. And then this dude, Hollywood, right? Okay. That's not too far-fetched. That's not too out of
I can
reach.
buy that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. He had to be there for this recon mission out in damn Tennessee. Like, he couldn't rely on this peon. Like, it had to be this particular dude again. Like, really?
Well,
how many are in
maybe-
your squad? Are you the only competent one?
Maybe he is. Maybe Aldrich.
At this
was-
point, he was, but that's not the
maybe Aldrich was like, you know what? You haven't blown up yet. I'm going to send you everywhere I can.
I know, right? Like, your travel plan is extensive.
Yeah.
Clear your calendar.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Just thinking about it, like, this guy, he's traveling some, man.
Yeah, he is. But yeah, you're thinking a lot now.
You're right. I really am.
Yeah.
You know what? Give me a damn second here.
What's up?
Oh no, keep talking. I'm gonna verify something real quick. Keep going.
Okay. I never get his name here in this movie. I don't know if they give him a name. I'm pretty sure they do, but I never caught it. But yeah, this other extremist guy who's a dickbag and who hasn't blown up, nameless henchman. He's the main nameless henchman, people. He's able to bring down the giant water tower, and he captures Harley in the process. So as Tony's trying to escape, this guy captures Harley. He's like, I'm gonna kill the kid unless you give yourself up. Tony calls him Westworld, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, I wanted you to expound on that because I know you have more experience with that show than I do.
Yeah. You need to watch that damn show, Kevin. Also, listeners, you need to watch the damn show too. Go watch Westworld.
And so he preached.
Oh, yeah. All y'all need to go watch Westworld. Okay. But anyways, what Tony's referencing here is the old school cheesy ass Westworld movie on which the TV show is based off of. And of course, in the TV show, I mean, it follows loosely the same premise as the movie. And this old Westworld movie is about these people who are like on a theme park-esque cowboy ranch type deal, and they look human, but they're actually robots. And I guess maybe Tony Stark thought this guy was a robot because of his extreme abilities. So he calls him Westworld, I guess. But my thing is like, that's such an obscure reference because no one in 2013 really knew a damn thing about the Westworld movie. Like, Westworld didn't become popular until the TV made it popular back in 2016. So, yeah, that was just pretty random.
Tony Stark, man, he always has those snarky, witty remarks.
Yeah. Even the ones that like people didn't get.
Even the ones that are too far above their heads. Yeah. And people have to pause the movie, turn to the computer, and Google shit. Yeah.
So yeah, the next scene that we get here that's really important because they disable nameless henchmen and Tony and Harley get away. Tony and Harley have another pretty funny scene where Harley is trying to be all cute and innocent, and Tony's just not having it.
Yeah,
and Harley's like, but I'm so cold, and Tony doesn't give a damn.
Yeah,
and just drives off.
He'd be a great dad.
It was funny. But yeah, the next major thing I have on here though is Mandarin shoots a man live on TV, and
that was intense.
That was intense. Yeah. I think this man was like somebody in the Senate or something like that, somebody who was supposed to be important. But yeah, he shoots the guy live on TV. Like, shit, the Mandarin ain't playing no games. At this point, the Mandarin is still really mysterious and he still has that same mystique that he did early in the movie when we see him, and he's still just someone that we want to see more of.
And the president did make the phone call. Like, he didn't waste 30 seconds. He was calling ASAP.
Yeah.
And he still got shot.
Yeah. Well, shit happens.
Yeah.
Next I have on here, Tony really hates the Iron Patriot name.
He does. He disses it every time.
Yeah, he calls Rhodey, and there's the whole thing again about Iron Patriot, and Tony just hates it. He hates it.
I loved the password.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like War Machine Rocks 68.
68.
I think that's supposed to be the year that he's born in.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and it's Rocks with an X.
I love Don Cheadle's amazing. Dude. He's just like, I'm gonna have to change my password every time you break in or hack in.
Like, no one says hack anymore.
It's not the 80s. Yeah. Just give me your password. War Machine Rocks with an X 868. And then even the terrorists are laughing. Like, ha, ha.
Yeah, he just points the gun over at him. That big ass Gatling gun on his shoulder.
Like, I really loved that.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
And even Tony's like laughing.
Yeah. Oh shit. Let's see. Yeah. So. Oh yeah, the Stan Lee cameo. Did you catch that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
It was. This was really a really brief cameo. You know, like if you blink, you miss it. Almost.
Right. Yeah. It was very, very small. He was a judge and doing the whole 10 for this.
Yeah, it was like
this girl on stage.
It was like this bingo thing going on, and I think he got bingos, but he exclaims bingo.
No, really? No, he had a 10 on his card. Remember the beauty pageant chick that was on TV?
Oh yeah, maybe that was it.
And then he was holding up a 10 for her.
Oh yeah, that may have been it. Yeah,
which honestly, you know, with his recent news, it's kind of like, oh, okay, like that's what I thought of when I saw that cameo. Like, dude. Yeah. Anyways,
yeah. So at this point, I have on her written, this is more like Robert Downey Jr. the movie, because that's what it feels like now.
Yeah, like there's so less. Well,
it's because it's really when he sneaks into this this news van, and then the guy who I guess owns the van, he comes in and he sees Tony Stark and he starts fanboying out, and I'm like, wow, this just seems like Robert Downey Jr. meeting a fan. That's what this feels like.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't act this scene out. We filmed a documentary.
Yeah. And that's just, I don't know, it's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah. How creepy. Wait, let me verify something real quick before we move on. I know we're trying to get a decent pace here, but I have to slow us down for this. This is super creepy to me. I'm not sure if I'm right. I want to make sure I'm wrong. Okay.
All right.
I want to be wrong here. Please don't tell me they went this creepy. So the dude who was the operator of the van, he was, you know, he opens the van and he's like, oh, what? I knew you weren't dead. Okay. And imagine, if you will, as you're listening to my voice describing the scene, that there's a little meter to the side of your HUD display, okay? And it's like low awkwardness rated at the very top of the meter to what the hell awkwardness, okay? So right now it's pretty low awkwardness. Like, oh, I knew you weren't dead. That's like almost no awkward. That's cool. Okay, whatever. At this point, what else would you say to someone who is proclaimed dead across newspapers?
Right.
Okay. Exchange. Dude, you're like my idol. You're my hero. Okay, that awkward meter's going up now. It's getting a little better, okay? And then he's like, I've shaped my whole, like, look after you. Takes off the hat, he's showing off the hair, and you're just like, okay, the awkward meter is quickly rising here. Okay, we're about 2/3 now.
Of course, I don't have product in here like you do, though, but yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And then on top of that, I want to make sure that this is the part I was wrong on. So he proceeds to show him this tattoo on his arm, which, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Don't do that, people, please. And then he's just like, I even got this tattoo of you and everything, but, you know, it wasn't an actual picture of you. I thought here he said it was after a doll I made.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That is what he said. What the shit? Literally? What the literal piss is wrong with this? Like, what?
I mean, I look at it this way. He's talking to a real life superhero.
That meter's broken, people.
And maybe he wanted to, like, I don't know, sculpt a real life Iron Man-esque. I don't know.
No, not Iron Man. It wasn't Iron Man. I mean, it was Tony.
How often do we see Tony without the mask on, without the Iron Man helmet on?
It's pretty often, unfortunately, because the movies do that way too much. But still, like,
I know it was creepy.
I wanted to be wrong. Oh gosh, I hope I forget about that in another 4 years.
It was creepy, but I think that's the whole point of it. It was supposed to be. It's supposed to be pretty creepy.
It successfully got progressively more.
It was,
The next thing that would have, like, overspilled the meter towards a volcano would have been, like, a shrine in a closet or something, you know? But anyways,
the next scene we get here, we find out that Killian is using disabled soldiers for the extremist program. So, like, he's taking, like, soldiers who were wounded in battle. And he's saying that, you know, this extremist program, like, it'll restore your limbs, it'll heal you, but you just have to work for me. Basically, is what he's saying. And I mean,
which again, to remind people, was a huge gamble because not all genes are compatible with this.
Yeah,
just remember that little asterisk.
Right, he's working with like maybe a 40% success rate.
Yeah, like that should have been the fine print on the back page of this contract.
Like there's approximately a 60% chance you will die a slow, painful, then a really fast death.
Yeah, and there's only a 10% chance that you'll even be good at being extremist.
Yeah. So the next scene we get here is Maya and Pepper. Like they go to like this, I guess this hotel that's supposed to be safe and all that. And we find out that Maya is a bad guy or bad girl.
Dun dun dun.
You're a bad girl, Maya. Bad girl. She has been playing on the wrong team. She's been working for Killian this whole time. And of course, Killian knows where they're at. He comes in and kidnaps Pepper.
I loved the way he carried the villain part here in this scene, because it was maniacal and it was smooth.
Because they don't waste any time telling us that they allude that he works for Mandarin.
Well, yeah, there's that too, or quote unquote master. No, it was like I loved his interactions. Is what I'm saying, because he just held Pepper up like she was a feather, right? Super light. Like telling her, shh, no, stop, hey. And like she's trying to react and bite, or she was fighting back, and he's just like, Pepper. And it continues his conversation like she's like a child nuisance. And it was like so well, like empowering to him. Like, whoa, okay, good job, guy. Yeah.
True. Yeah, I will say this. Like I did overall enjoy him more than Whiplash from Iron Man 2. Although not as much as Sam Rockwell from Iron Man 2.
Yeah, very much. I was about to say, man, Sam Rockwell.
Justin Hammer is hard to top. Justin Hammer is one of the most underrated villains we've had.
Listen to our Iron Man 2 movie review podcast, people. You'll hear how much praise this guy gets. We'll not have your bird too.
One of my favorite scenes in Iron Man 2. Anyways. Oh, shit. So Killian kidnaps Pepper.
Keep going. Okay, I'm just going to laugh.
The extreme is like he shuts down the Iron Patriot suit really easy. Like he pretty much touches the Iron Patriot suit and it just shuts down.
I was about to say handshake and your hand's gone.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He touches like the shoulder of the Iron Patriot suit, and then like it just.
Oh, right. Yeah. I was thinking like he did the hand thing. He's on the ground. Patriot standing up, and then like the rest of that happened. Yeah.
And so that's how they bring down Iron Patriot here. I guess they didn't have like the money or the time to put. Like a full-on Iron Patriot fight scene here.
Which would have been deserved.
Yeah, we see the suit plenty of times, but we don't see it in action.
Nope. Oh my gosh, you're so right. It's so sad.
Yeah, and oddly enough, we haven't seen Rhodey in a suit since. We see, we see Rhodey himself and Avengers 2. And then we haven't seen...
At the end of the movie, he was in the suit.
End of
Avenger... End of Civil War.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I'm
here
sorry.
He's in the suit. Okay,
cool. He completely ditches the Iron Patriot for Civil War. Yeah. He goes back to War Machine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot about that somehow. Yeah. But yeah, never mind. I stand corrected. Thank goodness. I'm actually really glad to be wrong about that. Don't know how I forgot. Anyways, so I was looking down at my notes here, seeing what's next, and the very next thing I have here is this movie is just boring.
Yeah,
because it's at this point where it's starting to drag, man. Like it
really is.
It's starting to become a chore to watch.
Like you're making a movie now that literally has a montage of just Robert Downey Jr. buying random props and bullshit.
After having another anxiety attack,
which he overcame stupid quick. And I'm sure people who actually have anxiety attacks testify with me here that that's not that easy to get out of. That you just like all of a sudden have a good thought and you're just like, oh,
I don't know.
I will go build something. I'm a mechanic.
I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I was about to say maybe that's I don't personally suffer from those, fortunately, but. Others can, verify or not.
He has this attack because, like, the suit isn't charging properly. Yeah. So he can't use the suit to go down to Miami to where Mandarin's base is at because he figures that out somehow. I forgot. And
Oh no, it was the files.
Yeah, okay, good.
The computer hacking thing he did in the news van.
Okay, yeah, that's how he figures it out. Good. And yeah, so he goes to like Home Depot and gets a bunch of stuff, and he's gonna go down and do this, I guess, the Home Alone style.
Home Alone coming to you.
Yeah. So he has explosive Christmas ornaments.
Yep.
A shot glove and a nail gun.
With like 3 shots, and then he tosses it aside.
Well, because he picks up an actual gun at this point.
Which, thank goodness. Good point.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. In this next scene, when he's doing the whole, like, I'm gonna be badass with these home gardening tools,
No, let's not forget that he also drives from Tennessee to Miami. So that's the thing that happens to
That's
him.
the thing that happens too. Good point. Like, he's got all this badass energy, and then he goes and goes and goes and says, I need gas in Georgia. And it says, man, I'm gonna pick me up
probably before Georgia. Probably well before Georgia.
And this is going to be a joke to throw back with Robert Downey Jr. before Iron Man started filming. He stopped for Burger King along the way, I'm sure. No, you don't remember that? Okay. I remember a small conversation you and I had a long time ago, whenever Robert Downey Jr. was coming back into the game and everything, that I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I told you about this. I'm confident it was you, that he got back into acting and everything because he was inspired from how horrible a Burger King burger was. Like, he bit into it, and it was so bad that it made him, like, change and rethink his perspective of life, and that he became re-involved with, like, picking up big, intense, and serious roles and acting and everything.
Oh.
Do you not remember this? No?
Vaguely.
Vaguely. Okay. Yeah. Never mind then. That was a wasted joke. Well, hopefully someone else out there laughed at it. Yeah. Screw me.
Yeah. So the next thing we have here, of course, he uses the gadgets and all that to take down these guards.
Sure.
Who thank goodness they're not paying that much attention.
And there's one guard in particular I want to highlight here. Mm-hmm. Okay, so a couple of the guards took like an exploding ornament to the face. Granted, I wouldn't want to do anything after that too. Like my day would be ruined if an ornament exploded like that in my face. And then a couple others, he did like his nail gun bit. There was one, and I want to highlight this, and I watched it twice to make sure. There's one he took down just by kneeing in the balls slightly. He didn't like do an intense, charge up. He just like grabs him, douche, and just like, like a little more than a tap, but less than an actual hit in the sack. And this guy's down, and that was it.
Shit.
Like, I'm sorry, are you a paid guard? Do you not get paid that much, I guess?
Maybe he's not a well-paid guard.
He's just like, man, this isn't worth it for whatever an hour I get. Yeah.
Or maybe he saw the previous guard who like, he got shot with a nail gun and fell into the fountain and then had an explosive ornament dropped into his face. Maybe he saw what happened to that guy.
I mean, maybe. And then he said, this kick to the gonads is going to be enough for me to go down.
Just to highlight that was extremely violent for a freaking Iron Man, I thought.
True.
Like, damn, not the knee to the groin thing, but like having the explosive ornament dropped into the guy's face inside of a fountain. Like, shit. Like, he's dead, folks. So now we're at that scene. We're at the big reveal, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. This is by far the most disrespectful, distasteful, just downright piss poor thing.
It's insulting, actually.
I have seen in a comic book movie, and I've seen some shitty things. I've seen Doctor Doom in the new Fantastic Four movie.
We don't have to talk about that eventually, do we? Do we have to?
I think we do, yeah.
Shit, that means I have to watch it.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet, have you?
I don't want to.
You have to see it for how bad it is.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I want to watch The Room.
So I have written down here that I could spend an hour talking about this god-awful, useless, dumb-ass reveal, but I'll just say that this is fucking stupid. That was a quote from my notes here, people. That wasn't me speaking.
It really was. He's reading his paper.
That was a literal quote from my notes. And, I contradict myself here because I say, I'll just say this, that it's fucking stupid, but then I continue on. about. I'll go on. I almost turned the movie off, which I did. I legitimately almost turned the movie off.
I did turn the movie off, to be honest. That was for a couple of reasons. One, I was out of time. I had to go do something else. And two, because at this point, it's just downheartening. And like I said, it's insulting. And
it's disrespectful.
The movie was going from boring to boring to boring to, it dropped off the Malibu cliff.
Now at this point, it's just not making any sense now. It's disrespectful to Ben Kingsley and the character of the Mandarin. It'd be like watching The Dark Knight. And, of course, The Dark Knight has two villains, Two-Face and Joker. Now, imagine that, coming to find out, Joker is pulling the strings here and Two-Face is just a paid actor. I mean, or that, vice versa. That
there you go.
Two-Face is pulling the strings and Joker's just a paid actor.
Right. He's like, whoa, no. I'm sorry. I'm not who you want. Man.
Yeah.
And he's actually logical. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Like, imagine that and how much that would just ruin The Dark Knight. That's what they do with this movie here. They take this movie that is, at this point, is kind of dwindling down the hill. And then, like Kevin said, it really does just completely shit on itself at this point. Because, we've shitted on the scene here, but let's explain what the scene is. So the scene is that he finds, the Mandarin's layer, like
the real
chambers.
Mandarin's layer, not this like clothing factory in some foreign place.
And he realizes that Mandarin's in the bathroom. He's gonna wait for him with the gun that he has. Mandarin comes out of the bathroom. Tony Stark points the gun at him, and then all of a sudden, it's not the Mandarin, but it's Trevor Slattery.
And don't forget, he pointed the gun at like the two girls in bed first, and they're just like, "Whoa," And
at this point, we find out that the Mandarin is just a character.
It turned into this awkward comedy, and you're just like, wait, what are you giving me right now?
It's just a character that Trevor plays, and he's not really this terrorist Mandarin guy. He's just some goofy, off the wall former drug addict who did Broadway theater, and he was offered the role to play the Mandarin, and he thought it was just that. And here's the thing, like, maybe it is fun to some people, I don't know, but to me it's just disheartening. Like, when I saw this in the theater, I was like, I paid fucking money for this. Like, I reached into my pocket and I paid for a ticket to see this, to see a legit great comic book villain just be destroyed right in front of my eyes.
You're right. This whole scene was a crime. But there was another crime about this, and it's one I'm sure we all felt in the theater. I know myself, I was feeling it and really feeling it for a while. So beforehand, we see this amazing, intimidating, threatening, like, short video that the Mandarin has made to be broadcasted over American news. And it's like a great lead-in into who this baddie is. And it's such a great build-up. And you see it, and it's just like... It's a crescendo to his freaking awesome villainy. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, we're getting to the big point where you can finally reveal this baddie, and you can see some cool-ass, I don't know, Mandarin versus Iron Man fight, potentially, like a scuffle or something. Right. Anything at this point besides what we got.
Yeah. What we got was supposed to be this really fun reveal that was supposed to make the audience laugh and be like, oh man, I can't believe that. But it comes off more like a fart in church.
And that's what it was. It was a bad scene coupled with a gas joke.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just a terrible scene. It was a terrible moment and superhero movie cinema history. I mean,
we're not even going to say that this was a fun movie like we've done for movies in the past. The thing, this was just a POS. Yeah,
here's the thing, because I was going to say this too. Like, another problem with this movie here is that not only is it a bad movie, because we review bad movies, but the difference between this and like the Incredible Hulk movie or Iron Man 2 or Captain America is that at least those movies, like, at least they were dumb fun,
Yeah, like Thor Ragnarok as well. Put that one in the ring too. You know? Yeah, that deserves it too.
Right. Yeah. It's dumb fun.
Like that's what they were going for. Okay, so that's what we got.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like don't get me wrong. Those bad movies to us? Yes, they are.
Yes.
But I can still watch them and turn off my brain and enjoy them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like Transformers. Once in a while, you gotta be in the mood for some violent metal. You know?
The plot doesn't have to make sense.
Right.
You know?
I just want to see some cool cinematic beauty, and that's all it is.
Yeah, but with this, the plot doesn't make any sense, and at this point, I am bored to tears.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm now pissed off because after being bored, I get revealed that the Mandarin is not the Mandarin.
Mm-hmm.
He's just some guy. Yeah. Like seriously, I don't know who thought this was a good idea. I don't know who, like, in the writing department said...
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I said from before. It's a series of bad ideas that became too much of a collective of bad ideas that we got on screen. And that was it. At that point, it was too late to retract anything. It was like, well, wait, guys, this might not work. Oh, no.
Because really, there is no redemption for the movie after this.
No,
because like
no
at this
Iron
point,
Man 4.
at this point, like in my mind, I'm thinking the only way that they can recover this is if we see the actual Mandarin later on. Like no, not Killian, but I mean
a
the
different
actual
Mandarin, someone so mysterious that he hit himself.
Right, and then he emerges. Like that's the only thing that they can do to save this movie, and obviously that does not happen.
And Killian did a great job leading into him too. This charismatic villain was just like, oh, hey, Master's not gonna like this. He was calling someone Master, and it was this bastard who was Master.
Yeah, well, it was. Well, he says later on that it was just an act.
Well,
obviously.
and that's what he does. But it's like, you have this cool lead-in, and
right. Well, you know,
this
Killian even says that he's the Mandarin, really, and it's like,
no, you weren't.
You're not.
Yeah,
you're just not. It's just so bad. I have down here that this is even worse than Baron Zemo from Civil War. And you know how I feel.
I know how much you hate about that. You spewed 5 minutes of hate about that on one of these podcasts, and it was hilarious.
You know, when we get to the Civil War, it's gonna happen again, people.
It's gonna be 10 minutes.
So prepare yourselves. Baron Zemo was shitty in Civil War, but not nearly as shitty as what they did to the Mandarin, and that's saying something.
Damn.
Yeah.
Take note, people.
It's goddamn disrespectful.
We held no punches.
None. Okay, so let's just keep
move on.
Let's
just do it.
Move on here. So let's finish this thing up here. So Tony gets captured.
Yep.
He gets captured by Killian and his men. Killian is salty because Tony stood him up. That's really what kickstarted this whole thing here.
That's why the movie is.
Yeah, that's pretty much why the movie is. That's kind of his motive here.
Otherwise, Tony would just be going through some excuse of therapy for his anxiety attacks with frickin' Pepper back in Malibu, and that'd be it. It'd be
probably.
The movie would have turned into a drama.
Well, it kind of tries to be a comedy drama, I guess.
Iron Man 3 Recovery.
But no, Recovery is a great Eminem album.
It really is. Yeah, I'm glad you liked the crossover reference there. Yeah, but anyways,
So. Killian says that Killian didn't say anything. Killian, he kills Maya, so Maya, she turns on Killian, kind of. She doesn't really turn on him, but she says, you have to keep Tony alive or else I won't work for you, and if I don't work for you, then who are you gonna get to do your project? And Killian's like, oh, I don't know. Then he kills her. Because it didn't really matter to him at this point.
Yeah, he already had the project.
Yeah, and here's the thing: Maya Hansen, she was pointless in this movie. She wasn't interesting.
Nope.
It's no disrespect to Rebecca Hall. It's just that her character was so flat.
She was attractive, and then at the beginning, her knowledge was impactful. But then eventually, when her knowledge became commonplace, it was like, well. Yeah, you're destined to not have a happy ending.
Yeah. I mean, she was.
No one.
Well, I mean, just the character itself, though, was very forgettable in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to compare it to the graphic novel because the graphic novels have way more ground to work on than movies do.
Yeah.
But the character here just didn't feel like I didn't care when she died.
Yeah.
Didn't care at all. There's no reason for me to care. So at this point, Tony Stark, he's tied up. Killian has gone on to go handle some more business somewhere else. There's some henchmen watching Tony, And at this point, we get Iron Hand and Boot. We don't get Iron Man, but we get Iron Hand and Boot for a little bit.
When he was tied up, I don't want to get stuck on this, but I'm stuck on it. He was tied up. Was he literally chained up to a bed spring on the wall?
Yeah, that's what it looked like. Yeah.
Why in the hell a bed spring on the wall?
I don't know. At this point, I didn't care.
Like, what? Who said, hey, you know what would be a great prison? Put that bed spring on that wall. Check it out. Look at that real quick.
Yeah, I noticed that, but I just didn't. I didn't have the energy and didn't care to think about it.
I mean, the whole like, wait for it. Oh, here it is. Here's my hand. Yeah.
I mean, I thought that part was funny enough, but I was still salty after the whole Mandarin thing. Like, you just can't expect me to brush that off.
No, you're going to be salty the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
and the ending doesn't help it much.
Yeah,
either.
So it doesn't matter how much pure comedy you put in the movie. Like, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not going to redeem it for me.
Chris Rock could come out and say some great jokes, and you'd still be a little pissed.
Yeah. So yeah, we get a scene here. Iron Hand and Boot. He dispatches the thugs, and then once he gets outside, he gets the whole Iron Man suit. Now, I have here, Kevin. The last time that we saw Tony in the Iron Man armor was at the 40-minute mark.
It doesn't. That's Tennessee.
Yep. It doesn't happen again until the 1 hour 28-minute mark,
which is pathetic.
Nearly 50 minutes, Kevin.
That's worse than Iron Man 2, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Iron Man 2 didn't have that many problems with the Iron Man suit.
No. But that's what I'm saying. Like, Iron Man 2 had like a good gap of time before we saw Iron Man again. Yeah. But this time, you're saying how long? Please repeat it.
50 minutes. So we see him at the 40-minute mark, and then again at the 1 hour 28-minute mark. So almost at the 1:30 mark. 50 minutes, nearly 50 minutes. In the middle of this movie, we literally do not see Tony Stark in the Iron Man suit
at all.
50 fucking minutes. Let that sink in.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
That's terrible.
In Iron Man movie.
How dare you call this Iron Man?
I know, right? Tony Stark with anxiety in Iron Man.
Yeah. Oh my! And this also played a part as to, I think, why the movie was so boring.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, and then really it just tumbles downhill, man. Like. The movie doesn't redeem itself.
It doesn't. No. Well, first off, it tumbled, and then it did a Chris Farley and somehow tumbled off a bigger ass cliff, and then continued to tumble. But it wasn't as funny as Chris Farley.
It wasn't.
No.
Like, this was tumbling in like a terrible sense of the matter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I want to go watch Black Sheep now.
Yeah,
let's do that.
Maybe you can explain this for me, because I think that this is just something I missed. But how did Rhodes escape? How did Rhodey escape? Because last time we see him, he gets out of the Iron Patriot suit and he tries to fight an extremist guy, and then Killian breathes fire onto like a stairwell, and then Rhodes is stuck there. And then the next time I remember seeing him, he's escaped and he meets up with Tony.
I'm shaking my head. I got nothing. I was dealt no cards.
Now, I'm not going to hold this against the movie, because at this point I was so disenchanted that I probably just missed it. So
probably me too. You know, I mean,
yeah. I mean, this movie has enough going against it. I'm not going to hold this against it.
Right,
I'm going to put this on myself and say that I just missed something.
The ranking at this point is so far down that this little thing isn't going to lower it anymore.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. In another movie, it would have in this point
now. At this point, reading this now is so hilarious to me, because reading my notes, I can tell how pissed I am. Okay. My next note says, the fucking suit can't fly again.
You recharge it and it forgot how to do something.
Yeah, God damn it! Like, just can't win. Oh, God damn. Okay. All right. So, I quit taking notes for a good chunk here because like where my notes pick up at now, it's like after pretty much once the movie's over.
I was about to say like now we're transitioning back to the big thing at the end. Right?
Yeah. Okay, so let me spitball this just really fast here,
Sure.
just to get us there.
Yeah,
okay.
let's do it.
All right, so
At this point, we just need to finish it. Yeah, we didn't want to do this one in the first place, but we're doing it.
Yeah. So yeah, the next thing here is that Rhodey and Tony, they're about to leave the compound, and before they do, they run into Trevor again, and then Rhodey goes, "This is the Mandarin?" He says that, and I write down, "This is the Mandarin? No, this is embarrassing," because it is.
Yeah.
And that's actually what Tony says. Tony says, "No, this is embarrassing," and I say, "Yeah, no truer words have been spoken in this movie," because it's true. Also, I also have Dr. Dre written down here because there's a scene where there's like this guy. I guess he's like a guy who works for the Navy. He's on the computer, and he's looking at the screen. And the guy who's it's a very small role, but the guy who's playing the part is the same actor that plays Dr. Dre in Straight Outta Compton. So yeah. Yeah.
Good catch.
Yep. Okay. There was one other good scene here that I really wanted to talk about.
Okay.
That was Iron Man saving like the 13 passengers of that plane. That was actually a really good scene.
That was
I thought.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that was really well done.
Chris Farley just stood back up.
Yeah. Yep. So, so at this point, the suit can fly again. So yeah, I'm glad they got that straightened out. Yep. It was a really cool scene though, where like there's an airplane that's going down because the Mandarin had taken it over and it was about to crash it.
Right.
He kidnapped the president. Kind of found out the vice president is in on the whole thing. And he allows the president to be captured by Mandarin.
Which I'm not sure that was wholly necessary to throw the vice president into this at this point.
No, because the movie has a lot going on at this point.
Yeah, and you're just like, I didn't need the distraction, but that's cool.
Yeah,
it's happening.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I get it. The vice president we see, he has a granddaughter who has a missing leg, and so we just assume that Adrian, or not Adrian.
I'm sorry, do you want your granddaughter to blow up?
Right. Well, I'm assuming that Killian didn't tell the vice president about that part, but yeah.
It was in that fine print again, man.
But so once this plane that Killian took over is going down, he, like, all the passengers, they're out of the plane and they're free falling. And Iron Man, he comes up with a pretty good way to save them. He chains them all together, and then he puts himself in the middle of the chain, and is able to use his like repulsor jetpacks to kind of get them down, lower them safely to the water, and right next to a boat.
Which was really good thinking at the last minute. Yeah.
Because he asked Jarvis, "How many can I save?" And Jarvis says 4. Well, shit, you gotta think of something.
Yeah.
And he did. That was a really well done scene, I thought. And then immediately after that, he's flying away and he gets hit by a freaking semi-truck. And the suit collapses into pieces again.
I know, right? Now remember, think to yourself as you see this part. Pull up on a separate screen in your mind here. Iron Man 1, where he's freaking fighting head on head here with Warmonger. And all those... Thank you. Yep. Thank you for the correction. Ironmonger. And he's getting the shit kicked out of him with his bigger, badder machine.
That Mark 1.
And that Mark 1 was perfect, dude.
That Mark 1 was started. He should have stuck with the Mark 1, I guess.
He spared no expense.
But yeah, the Mark 42 falls apart again. The Mark 40, all the Mark 42 does is come to him and fall apart.
That's true. That's actually true, because he broke it apart with a damn crowbar in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And now... Yeah, it's made of butter. I've made the joke 100 times, and it's going to be said here on mic. It's made of butter. Yeah.
It's made of paper mache.
Yeah.
But come to find out, Tony was just remote controlling the suit. He wasn't in it, thank goodness, because that suit would not protect him.
No.
So the next thing we get here is suit gets demolished. So the next thing we get here is when Tony and Rhodey they sneak into like this giant like boat carrier thing where Killian is and all the extremist soldiers are at. The president is strung up. He's inside the Iron Patriot suit. Don't ask me why he can't use the Patriot suit to escape.
Right?
I've never understood that.
Like Iron Man 2, Don Cheadle learned how to use the suit mid-fight. Like, he goes and puts it on and says,
Right.
okay, we're going to fight right now.
Yeah.
Versus this dude who's just like, well, I guess I'm stuck hanging here.
Yeah.
Big-ass gun I could use right there.
super strength, flight, all that you have in the suit. I mean, because at first I thought, well, maybe the president just didn't have access to use the suit. But then once they free the president from the suit, he walks in the suit, meaning that he has control inside the suit. So why couldn't you just free your damn self from the suit?
You want to know why? Here's why right here. You ready for this? Jarvis was asleep. Again. That's all. That's all it was. He was asleep.
Jarvis didn't help Rhodey any. So
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm just BSing over here.
So let's
Let's
skip
move
through
on.
this. Yeah. So yeah, basically the plot now, people, is I'm so goddamn lazy at this now.
I can tell when you really don't care for the movie. Yeah.
Or like even with movies that I don't care particularly for, I put more into it.
Right.
But now it's like, fuck this movie.
I've noticed, yeah.
So yeah, now at this point, Tony, he's they're trying to stop Killian, and he's trying to rescue Pepper and also save the president. Rhodey takes it upon himself to try to save the president. Tony does the house party protocol, which summons all of the Iron Man suits, all the other suits come to his aid, and I guess maybe he forgot to put a few nuts and bolts together on these suits because they all fall apart. Like that. They're really cool to watch. It's a really fun scene to see. It's visually well done and appealing.
We do see the prototype for the Hulkbuster, which was interesting.
We see the Proto Buster, and it gets busted along with every other suit.
It was not ready for the Hulk. None of these were. None of these were ready.
Well, the thing that really pisses me off here.
Veronica?
That was AI
right.
he used.
You.
Yeah.
Okay.
But because Veronica also helps Peter Parker in Homecoming.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah. But the thing that really pisses me off here is that in Avengers we see the Mach 5 stand toe to toe with Thor. Let that sink in, people. We see
the god.
We see the Mach 5 stand toe to toe with Thor, the god of thunder. Okay. We see Mach 6 hold up to Loki's attacks and all the Chitauri, and we see it save Tony Stark's life. But now, all these suits, none of them can withstand fire henchmen.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, literally, it just melts right through them. Mm-hmm. Like, he used a whole cheap alloy.
Yeah.
Like aluminum foil.
Right.
Layered aluminum
These
foil.
are bargain bin Iron Man suits. And, listeners, this is, I'm sure, way too late. But if you actually enjoyed this movie, I mean, I'm not sorry, but I don't know what to say to you guys. I'm sorry.
You're a rare breed.
Yeah.
That is.
I want you to understand where our pain is coming from here. But if you enjoyed this movie, please feel free to tell us why you enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, because I really want to know why. But anyways, all these suits fall apart. As cool as it is to see Tony Stark hop in and out of suits and to see all these new suits that we haven't seen before fly around and do cool stuff, it just doesn't make any sense because we know what these suits are truly capable of, and none of them hold up at all. I mean, you can try to make up defenses for them, but it just doesn't hold together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next thing I have here is pretty much Pepper for the win. There's a fight scene between Tony Stark and Killian. Once again, he's in and out of different suits, and it's visually cool to see, but once again, it doesn't really do anything for the story per se, because they're trying to make Killian look strong, but in the process, they're just continuing to make Iron Man's armor look weak.
Yep.
So there's really no appeal here for me at this point. But Pepper, she's injected with the extremists, and it works for Pepper when you know it. The extremist works for Pepper.
She did look amazing there.
Yeah.
Go figure, she was part of that 2%, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, surprise, surprise, it worked for Pepper, and she's able to she kills Killian. She definitely does that. She kills him, and then they have a little talk, and Tony blows up their remaining suits because reasons.
What was this thing? What was it called? The Christmas protocol?
I think so.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yep, and he explodes.
And they went off like fireworks.
Yep. And once again, I say because reasons. Tony does it because reasons.
Yeah, because he has
because we can't you can't say that he did it because he doesn't need the suits. He comes back in Age of Ultron with a suit.
Yeah.
So obviously
let's talk about that more in a second because there's a huge factoid going into that definitely. But I think here the thing that I suppose we're supposed to just rely on as a dumb audience is the fact that it's Tony Stark. He's always had a soft spot for the dramatic flair. And this was very dramatic. It was very much like a cool setting for him and Pepper. But that's not good enough for us. We're not a dumb audience.
Maybe he blew up these suits because he knew that they were all pieces of shit.
Maybe. He knew that he was just building them with a sleep-deprived mind, Yeah,
maybe it's like, I shouldn't build these out of aluminum foil anymore.
I know,
I need to use titanium again.
He comes out of Walmart with a whole damn basket full of that aluminum wrapping.
Man. In the description for this podcast, I'm going to have to be upfront and honest and say that we shit all over this movie for 2 hours.
Yep. That's all we did. Like, the beginning was pretty good, and it was going up the hill, and then, what the bull crap.
I would say the first third of the movie was pretty good.
Yeah.
Was okay.
Like, we could literally cut that, remake the 2/3 we don't like, and throw the other 2/3 in a bad blooper reel or something.
Yeah, pretend it never happened.
Deleted scenes, the whole movie.
So they gloss over the next part where he basically says they were able to fix Pepper also because reasons.
Yeah, and, what? What?
Yeah.
I remember watching that in theaters, just kind of like, well, wait, don't you want a super hot, powered woman who's going to be able to support and also fight by your side?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that'd be cool.
Okay, like, so the extremists...
It'd be their attempt at rescue, almost.
Yeah, but, I mean, maybe it's dangerous, so I understand them removing it.
True.
But glossing over it, it's like, okay, well...
Right, like, that was the most resolve we're going to get.
We don't see anything, we just hear Tony briefly mentioning it.
Yeah.
And then...
we were able to resolve Pepper.
Yeah. And then we see Tony getting the sharpener removed from his heart, thus no longer needing the arc reactor to hold the sharpener in place. And, because he doesn't need it anymore either, he throws the arc reactor away.
He gets surgery to replace and make his chest a normal human chest again. And the end?
Yeah, he drives away and he goes, he says something along the lines of, no matter what, I'm always Iron Man. And I'm like, okay.
Is that what we're supposed to rely on? Like, that's how you're still going to be Iron Man without the arc reactor and all this?
I mean, that's the thing. Like the ending to this movie also doesn't make a lick of damn sense.
It was so lazy. It was just like, okay, and this is all.
If this was the last appearance of Tony Stark as Iron Man, then maybe it would make more sense. But we see him again as Iron Man.
There's that too.
And then there's no... Like, there's no bridge connecting that.
They never explain it, and they never will.
They
never tell us, so by the way, Pepper, I lied. I still kind of want to be Iron Man, and let me go be Iron Man again.
Right. The world needs me, Pepper, so I got to be Iron Man.
Yeah, let me keep building my suits I promised I wouldn't build anymore.
Right, yeah.
And then she in the next movie is just kind of cool with it, like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we don't see her again until Homecoming, though. Well, no, do we see her in Civil War? Because we don't see her in Age of Ultron.
I don't remember Civil War. I know in Homecoming she's apparently cool enough or has forgiven him for it that she said yes or whatever to the
so I guess they got
ring.
I guess they got over that hump or whatever.
Or that potential quote unquote hump. But no, it was just like a really hastily done ending. Like, let's quickly resolve all these loose ends that we've created in this super, super, super sketchy and like bad plot that we made.
Yeah. And, man, like, once again, when I sat down last night to watch this movie for a second time, I watched it truly with the intentions of finding reasons to enjoy it. Yeah. And I left the way just as salty and just as bitter and as bitchy as I did the first time around. And, the thing of it is, like, I would normally consider myself overreacting, except when it comes to superhero movies, I mean, I guess I'm speaking for myself here, but I'm typically a pretty irrational person. I don't overreact to things that are changed from the core material,
Right?
Because I understand it, I get it.
You do work to be an open mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this movie doesn't leave me any choice but to hate it because it almost does purposely everything that it can do to make sure that it's a terrible movie. I mean, it's boring. The plot points don't make any sense. The reveal doesn't make any sense.
Very much so.
It takes the wind out of the sail, as a matter of fact. The Iron Man suits don't make any sense.
Yeah.
The ending doesn't make any sense. Nothing makes sense.
No, they just did a bunch of crap they didn't need to do.
Nothing makes sense. The
not
movie
at all.
starts off so strong with so much promise, but then, like we said, as it goes on, it just loses everything and it crashes and burns like Tony did when he landed in Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly. Except there was no snow landing. It was just.
Yeah.
So here's the question here. Let's step outside of the realm of Iron Man 3 and just go back to the cinematic universe where we were freely happy roaming around talking about all the movies instead of this one.
Yeah.
Do you think that our superpowered Marvel and DC empire will make these mistakes again? Do you think that there's a potential that another movie like Iron Man 3 is going to be made? I'm not saying in the sense I'll be an Iron Man 4. I'm saying in the sense of quality. Yeah.
I certainly hope not, but here's the disconcerting thing is that Iron Man 3, for whatever reason, has pretty good ratings on
Oh, I noticed. It's like a 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what the hell? Who did this?
Yeah, who said this movie was like
Who
that?
lied?
Yeah.
Who lied to me?
Somebody lied and somebody paid somebody money.
Yeah, like this needs to be just above, like, what, Fantastic Four? Because I'm pretty sure that was like the lowest rating on Rotten Tomatoes for a time. Yeah.
Here's the thing, like, because I have a rating here for this movie.
What's up?
And I took some time, man. I calmed down, and I was
Smart.
really gracious, and I really combed through my memory of this movie and really went through my notes here and found all the good I could. And I think I gave it a higher score than maybe it deserves, but I'm gonna stick with it. I ended up giving this movie a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's fitting, I feel like, as well, because either 6 or something a little lower. Not a full 5.
Yeah, not a full 5.
I wouldn't give it a full 5,
yeah,
but like a
no.
5.5, 5.8, if I want to be technical.
Right.
Just because the beginning was good.
Mm-hmm.
The characters, at first, were good.
Yeah.
There were strong things, and you had a great potential. And whatever the hell was your thought process, it was good, and they should have continued with it. And we would have been happy as hell. We would have been so happy.
Yeah.
Put in a kick-ass fight scene with Mandarin and Killian and Iron Man and all of them together. I would have been so cool.
Yeah.
But, again, there was just too many, what if we did this? What if this was that? And what if these all of a sudden did this? And it was, what the
They made this movie underestimating how many fans know and appreciate source material. It's one thing when you change things to make it work for the movie. Those changes I completely understand.
Yeah.
Because you can't take a graphic novel or comic book and fit into a movie. I understand.
Right. And it's boring to copy and paste.
Yeah, and that too.
Yeah.
But what you can't do, though, is just ignore the entire history of this major villain and just do away with it because you want to put a joke in there.
Right. Like, that's not cool.
Yeah.
If you have a dark movie, be proud of your dark movie. You know?
One more thing I want to talk about before we close real quick, and this is kind of a good tie-in here, good transition.
What's
is that?
up?
So their attempt to remedy this, and they do this as if they did it on purpose. But I think they did because of backlash.
Yeah, you told me about this recently. Yeah, I didn't know about this at all until you told me.
Yeah, the Marvel one-shot they did with this. So Iron Man 3 came out in 2013. This one-shot, I don't believe, didn't come out until 2014. So that kind of tells me something there, too. But it's called All Hail the King. And I also watched this last night, too.
Okay.
And this was definitely... it was better than Iron Man 3. This 10-minute, short movie.
Sure.
So it's Ben Kingsley or Trevor Slattery. He's in jail. He's in prison. He's been there for assumingly a couple months now, maybe a year. And he at this point he has like this big black bodyguard prisoner who's in there with him, who works like his bodyguard / secretary type guy.
Sure. Okay.
And he's in there, and he's doing the whole goofy thing and all that. And he gets approached by like some other inmates, like, hey man, can you do the voice, man, do the voice. He's like, oh, acting is more serious than that. I can't just turn it on, turn it off. And then he goes, okay, I'll do it. And so he turns around, pulls out a pair of sunglasses out of nowhere, puts them on, turns back around and goes, you will never see me coming. And then they just go, oh shit, he did it. He did it.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And they're eating it up and they're loving it, and no one wants to mess with him because he has a reputation, not because they think he's like this actual Mandarin, but because everyone else loves him. So if anyone else messes with them, then they have
he's the entertainment. What the hell are you doing fighting him?
Yeah. And so the whole point of this one shot though is that there is almost from the perspective of an interviewer, like a journalist who's interviewing him for a special on some news channel, and the interviewer's like, to be honest, Trevor Slattery is an odd individual. He's really egotistical, really self-obsessed. He's a really strange person. And long story short, throughout the course of the interview, things started seem a little strange. And then eventually the interviewer's like, so have you ever thought about the repercussions of your actions? And Trevor's not getting it's like, no, what are you talking about? And the interviewer goes basically, he basically alludes to something like, you don't think that the man out there who you were perpetrating wouldn't see what you're doing. And Trevor still doesn't get I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
And at this point, the interviewer at this point realized maybe it's not an interviewer. He pulls out a gun and attempts to kill Trevor. Trevor's bodyguard, his personal bodyguard, comes up, takes a bullet. And he still keeps going and, tries to take down this interviewer. This interviewer is no ordinary man. He's trained, definitely. He kills the bodyguard and he goes for Trevor. Actually he wasn't trying to kill Trevor, actually he's just trying to capture, and he goes, so are you gonna come with me and meet someone? And Trevor goes, who are we meeting? And he goes, oh, you'll see well enough. And he alludes that he's gonna take him to see the actual Mandarin. Yep.
I mean, that's looming and that's cool, and I'd love if they played with that in the future for some other movie. But you're right. It's like, okay, they obviously felt, better said, the backlash and the hatred and the spewing comments from fans everywhere saying, wait, what was this? This wasn't it at all. This isn't Mandarin. And then sometime later, as you said, maybe 2014, potentially, they give us this cool 2-minute segment. Okay.
And don't get me wrong, it was a really fun thing to see. All Hail the King, go watch that too, audience. If you homies haven't seen that, I recommend it. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't make up for Iron Man 3 at all, but it is a fun watch.
You think it's on YouTube?
I think I watched it on Vimeo.
Okay, that makes sense, In that case, it might just be something we could share to the page, and you guys can watch it through that.
Yeah, if you haven't already seen it.
True. If you haven't. I know I myself haven't. I'd like to actually watch it,
I mean, it's an entertaining watch. I think the credits said that Sam Rockwell was in it, but I don't remember seeing him.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Right.
That'd be cool.
Now, keep in mind...
He was in prison.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, it was 2 o'clock in the morning when I watched it, so I maybe missed him. But I was certainly looking for him because, once again, I freaking love Sam Rockwell. But this, I think I can agree when I say that we dislike this movie more than Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 1, yet this has been the longest Iron Man review.
Yep.
But so we're going to go ahead and close this up. Do you have any closing remarks on the movie, Kevin, before we take this home?
Well, guys, if this was not your favorite movie, you are not alone out there. This whole podcast is definitely a testament to that factoid. We'll be definitely covering the rest of the movies, but trust me, this will probably be the lowest of the low that we go through before we hit up the rest of our awesome lineage of movies leading up to Infinity War. And guys, again, if you have friends that like this kind of stuff, if you have friends that you like to argue with about this kind of stuff, send them our way. Let us all homie together and actually appreciate these things all together.
If you like what you hear, then do yourself a favor and hit the subscribe button. So as soon as we upload every podcast, you'll be able to listen to them immediately. And also if you're feeling charitable, do us a favor and give us a rating on iTunes. The better rating, then the better that'll be for us. And also, of course, if you have any questions or any thoughts on Iron Man 3, or any questions, comments, gift threats, food supplies in general, then hit us up at superherohomies@gmail.com or the Facebook page Superhero Homies. And
yeah, that's all I got, man.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and
now I think it's about time that we go ahead and sign out and go back to our political soft voices for the rest of the evening.
Yes, I think that's probably the best approach, Kevin. So we're gonna go ahead and sign off here. And as always, just keep in mind that this coming Sunday we will be doing another podcast. We'll be talking about the subtle differences between comic book characters from their comic book origins to the big screen. We're going to be discussing why these changes are made, and are they for the better or are they for the worse?
It sounds like a solid plan. And ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the range of emotion which we have shown in our voices here, because we know that this is the volume that everyone appreciates to listen to.
Absolutely. So please continue to listen to the podcast and tell all your friends and family about it, and be sure to listen in. And of course, next Wednesday we'll continue our review of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we pick up with what the hell comes after Iron Man 3? I believe it's Thor 2, The Dark World.
I really think you're correct, my friend, because I really do not remember, because that's another movie. Oh shit, we don't want to talk about that movie either, do we?
Well,
okay, guys, we're going to be in the bottom of the pit.
we have to go through Thor 2. This is going to be our fourth Thor review. And then we get to one of my favorites, which is, of course, The Winter Soldier. But
that's going to be a great movie.
And also, February 4th, mark that date on your calendars, because we'll be having a special guest on that Sunday. We'll be joined with Caleb, who was our special guest for the Justice League preview podcast. And he'll be joining us for our Punisher podcast. So,
and yes, that is the Netflix television series, if you're so inclined to watch Netflix.
Yes, which I'm pretty sure you are.
Which we hope you are.
Yes, indeed. So we thank you guys again for listening. And as always, my name is Quentin.
I am Kevin.
Thank you all, and have a good night.
Peace.